It's time now for Fort Leboeuf Bison football coverage on the sunny 105.7 Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream. Visit sunny1057fm.org for all of the action all season long. Brought to you by the Hickory Federal Credit Union at HickoryFCU.org.
Additional support comes from Burbles Construction, Family Inc. Innovations, the Buff Creek Cattle, Waterford Beverage, Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill, High T Fence Systems, O'Brien Transmission, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Jim Brozell Construction, Wise Physical Therapy, and Al's Appliance Sales and Service.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 105.7 Sunny FM. We're delighted to present the Hickory Federal Credit Union pregame show, coming to you live from Mahalik Thompson Stadium Complex on the campus of Slippery Rock University, where the postseason football rises to the spotlight tonight. It's the District 10 Class 3A semifinals, and the intensity only continues to build. The Fort Leboeuf Bison, energized by last week's opening round triumph, now prepare to challenge the Hickory Hornets. Doug, what do you have for us?
Well, as you said, tonight is the District 10 semifinals, and so the winner tonight will take on the winner of Sharon and Grove City next week in the District 10 3A finals. So Hickory coming into tonight's game at 9-1, coming off a 60-0 whitewashing of Girard last week, in a game in which they were up 47-0 at halftime and cruised to the victory. Fort Leboeuf, on the other hand, had a little bit of a tougher game, first-round matchup last week, as they broke open a 12-12 game at halftime and won 29-12 in their opening round game against who did they play?
Girard?
No. Who did Fort Leboeuf play?
Corey.
I was drawing a blank there. So both teams coming into this game on substantial winning streaks as well. Fort Leboeuf's won 5 straight. Hickory's won 4 straight since their lone loss of the season to Canfield. So coming into this game, both teams are run-heavy teams. They're both averaging almost exactly the same amount of yards per game rushing, just under 241 yards per game for both teams. Where the big difference comes in is Fort Leboeuf has a much better rushing defense, as they are giving up just 151 yards rushing per game on the season, while Hickory is giving up nearly 200 yards per game rushing. So, in a game that is probably going to be won or lost by the running game, Fort Leboeuf might have a little bit of an edge there. But Hickory comes into this game with their junior running back, Kelvin Morrison, who has missed 2 games this year and still has over 1,400 yards rushing on the season. And he has rushed for over 100 yards in every game. So that's going to be the key to winning this game for Fort Leboeuf, is if they can stop Morrison on the ground today.
Well, and with our defensive line and our linebackers, we definitely have a chance. Hickory is obviously favored in this game, and they should be. But from what we've seen with Fort Leboeuf throughout the season and how they've progressed, there is no reason why Fort Leboeuf can't be in it towards the end of the game. Now, that might not happen, but if they play the defense the way that we know they can play defense, we might not be able to stop Morrison, but we might be able to contain him long enough that maybe we can do something on offense to keep us in it late. And if you're in a game late, anything can happen.
Absolutely. And the one big advantage that Hickory has over Fort Leboeuf is playoff experience. Fort Leboeuf won their second playoff game since 1990 last week, whereas Hickory comes into this game as the 2-time defending District 10 champions. So they have won a total of 8 playoff games over the last 2 seasons.
Wow.
Whereas Fort Leboeuf has won 2 since 1990. So Hickory has 22 players that are either juniors or seniors. So the majority of those 22 have been here for both championships and then this 9 season. So, they're not going to be scared or nervous of this situation. They're definitely more seasoned when it comes to the playoffs.
Well, and in a lot of the football that I've watched, sometimes not having a lot of experience, you don't know that you should be scared about playing a better team. Sometimes when you just show up and you're the underdog, you have nothing to lose. And in this case, I think Fort Leboeuf has nothing to lose tonight, and Hickory does, so the pressure's kind of on them. Now, with the running game that they have and the speed that they have, that might not make a difference. But the way that I've seen this team gel throughout the season and grow and compete, I don't think Fort Leboeuf's taking that field scared.
Absolutely. And, if this does come down to a running game, like I said, Fort Leboeuf's rushing defense has been much better this year. 8 out of their 11 games this year, they have held the opponent to under their season average rushing per game. So, Hickory averages 240 yards a game rushing, but against Fort Leboeuf, this is probably one of the better rush defenses that they've played all year. So, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bison can hold them, not totally down, but,
contain them.
If they hold them under 200 yards rushing, I consider that a win for Fort Leboeuf.
Well, I think that what you're saying, AI, our predictive AI, agrees with you. We did 10,000 simulations, and Hickory won 70% of the time, Fort Leboeuf 28% of the time, and the rest of the time was a tie, which obviously in playoff football we're not going to have. The average score was Hickory at 33.7 points per game, and Fort Leboeuf at 27.3, which was a difference of 6.4. So I guess they go along with what we're saying. That's only a touchdown difference. That's one mistake that maybe Hickory makes that Fort Leboeuf's able to capitalize on. And it's been raining all day. It's not raining now, so we might not have the 12th man like we did last week with the wind. Mm-hmm. We had a 12th man on defense because we were a running team. They were a passing team, and that really, really helped us. But the field is slick. And when you have a speed runner instead of a power back, that could come to the advantage of Fort Leboeuf. And Sadowski might not want to do as many jump cuts and might want to just put his head down and put a shoulder into guys like he did earlier in the season. It might be that kind of game. And with Blos and Black and Walters adding to the run game, I think that the weather right now supports Fort Leboeuf. Is that going to be enough to help us get an edge? I'm not sure.
Absolutely. And that, that AI generation, those are actually the exact amounts of points that the offenses are scoring per game. Hickory's averaging 33. Fort Leboeuf is averaging 27 per game. Now, Hickory's only giving up 14 points a game this year, but they've given up a lot of yards. So, what I read into that is they got a kind of a bend but don't break defense.
How many rushing yards have they been giving up on average?
They're giving up about just under 200 yards, about 197 yards per game.
And we're getting about, 150?
We're giving up 150.
We're giving up 150.
Right.
So they're giving up more yards on defense, but we're a running team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so that might really come – if we can sustain long drives and keep their offense off the field, that's going to be our best defense.
And I think that the big key to the game is Fort Leboeuf not turning the ball over. They started the game last week against Hickory with fumbles on their first 2 possessions.
Yep.
If they do that against Hickory, it's going to be a long night for Fort Leboeuf. But if they can keep a handle on the ball and not turn it over and sustain some drives,
sure.
Hickory's 9-1. Their only loss is to an Ohio powerhouse in Canfield. So, most people see that and give Fort Leboeuf no chance. But if you actually look at the stats aren't that much different between the two teams.
So
And-
I'd like to comment on those two things that you just said. One, I've been watching sports long enough that the longer you're winning, regardless of who you play, you have a greater chance of losing your next game. It's just hard to sustain a winning streak for long periods of time, no matter who you play. And the other comment that you made was, say that one more time. I lost track. Okay, I apologize. I lost track there. But that's hard to do. And so I just feel like, the running game and just the power game that we have. But I also think that Walters is the difference. I think Walters is so savvy playing quarterback, and he's so aware. He's made very few mistakes this year, that I really feel like the game is going to come down to his decision-making for us. If we're close in the fourth quarter, it's going to come down to his decision-making. And I got to be honest with you, I trust Walters explicitly, completely, totally. I think that he is the kind of mind every coach wants playing quarterback.
Absolutely. And, but like I said, both teams are averaging about 240 yards rushing per game. Fort Leboeuf has more variety in their rushing. Hickory's main two guys are Morrison, who I just read on their Facebook page today, has 13 Division I offers already, and he's only a junior.
Wow.
So, that tells you something right there. So, between Morrison and their quarterback, Dungy, they're averaging about 240 yards per game. They're averaging almost as much as the team itself is averaging per game. So, they don't have much behind those two, whereas Fort Leboeuf has Xavier Blows, Aiden Strushin, Brady Black. They have other guys besides their main two of Sadowski and Walters that they can go to.
Well, that was the other point I wanted to make. And the field is slick, even though it stopped raining. And our backup running backs are north and south runners, which on a slick field is really what you want. And so the fact that we can run a triple option, a double option, run the play action, we're really good with the short passes. I don't know. When I see the two teams out here today, I see equal teams. When I see them warming up out on the field, I see equal teams. Is that what we're going to see when game time starts? I'm not sure. But I think Fort Leboeuf has a better chance than maybe people are giving them.
Absolutely. I agree.
And after, we saw GM lose last week in the first round. Nobody saw that coming.
Right.
So there's a reason we play these games, because GM is really good. And they really should have won that game. But, it only takes a couple plays for a team to be put in a difficult situation.
And, Fort Leboeuf, too, has put, even though Hickory has some good teams that they played Sharon, Grove City in their own in their own region. They played Farrell outside their region. They've played some good teams, but they've also played some lesser teams.
Yeah.
And so, Fort Leboeuf has actually played a better schedule this year than Hickory has. So.
And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we can't hear it because our booth does not allow us to open the windows. But the national anthem is about to play, so we're going to hear a message from our sponsor real quick while we hear the national anthem.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Hickory Federal Credit Union. The Hickory Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Hickory Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Hickory Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Hickory, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at hickoryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Hickory Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
All right, we are back, and we're less than a minute before the start of the game here, Hickory has won the toss, and they are going to go on offense first. They have elected to receive the kick. So we will see right off the bat the all-star running back of Kelvin Morrison.
Well, and that's one thing I wanted to say about the turnovers in the last playoff game by Fort Leboeuf. That was their first playoff game in a long time. So we always talked all year about playing under control. And when you have that kind of adrenaline running through you in your first playoff game, and you don't have other players to kind of show you the ropes of how to go through it, that's going to happen. But now that it's the second playoff game, they've kind of getting over those jitters. And now I think they might have a much better chance to start the game off playing under control and playing Fort Leboeuf Bison football that we've seen most of the year.
Absolutely. As Lucas Kantz is getting it teed up at the 40-yard line.
And this is a turf field, so it is slick tonight.
And this kicking game may come into play here as we've seen Lucas Kantz have numerous touchbacks this year. So if he can get some touchbacks into the end zone here and keep the Hickory from running it back. But this one is short as it's fielded at the 15 and dropped, picked back up over the 20. And he breaks a couple tackles and is slung down by Aiden Strushin at the 21-yard line.
And what I see right away is, did you notice that Kantz did not get a full run up to the ball? Because the grass is wet, the turf is wet,
Absolutely.
And he only took 2 steps before he kicked that ball. So right away we can see that they're playing on a very slick field, and I don't think that's going to go away. I don't think that's going to evaporate throughout the night because it's only going to get colder.
Absolutely. And that was Christian Dungey, their quarterback, who returned that for 6 yards up to the 21-yard line. And Dungey's in the shotgun with Morrison flanking him to his left. Takes a snap. Dungey's going to run it himself around the left end, up over the 25 to the 30. Breaks a tackle up over the 40 and run out of bounds right there around the 40. They're going to mark him down at the 37. But that's a 16-yard gain on the first play of the game.
Yeah, and right away what I see is if they're going to run the ball outside, the defense is going to have to be able to get outside quickly and send the running back in and make them have a hard cut. If they're able to run a sweep and not really have to cut but just run a sprint, they're going to get those chunk plays. But if we can get to the edge before their blockers and send them back inside, I think we'll have more success.
Dungey takes the snap, hands it off to Morrison. He's going to try around the right side, breaks a tackle up over the 45 to the 50, and he's brought down in Fort Leboeuf territory at the 42-yard line. Another big gain for Hickory.
Yeah, and they're getting good runs here right off the get-go, but they're not breaking it wide open. We're having some of the Fort Leboeuf players, they're kind of swiping at the running back, or the quarterback, I should say, and they have an opportunity to make a play, but I think once they get a feel for how their running game works, they're going to do a little bit better.
1st and 10 at the Fort Leboeuf 42. Dungey back in the shotgun, looking to the sideline for some direction. Play clock under 10. As he gets back into the pistol formation, Morrison behind him. High snap, and he's handed off to Morrison, and he's not going to get much. He gets up over the 40 to about the 39-yard line for about a gain of 3.
Yeah, that was a high snap, and you saw him motion him up from behind the quarterback. He motioned him up to be right next to him. But that wet ball is what I think, in that slick field, is what caused that high snap. And I think by the end of the game, that's going to be in Fort Leboeuf's favor.
Brings up a 2nd down and 7 at the 39. 10:35 to go on the running clock in the first quarter here. Dungey takes the snap, hands it to Morrison. He has a head of steam up over the 40. Close to a 1st down, and it is going to be a 1st down as he gets up to the 32-yard line for a 7-yard gain.
Yeah, and right now, Hickory's playing without any fear. They're just running the ball, and I don't think they're even going to consider passing it at this moment.
1st down and 10 at the 32. Dungey looking to the sidelines again. Plenty of time on the play clock. Morrison and Dungy have run the ball on every play so far. As Morrison up next to Dungy, he fakes the handoff, and he's going to try to pass. Can't find anybody, and he just throws the ball away into the sidelines. Good pressure by Fort Leboeuf on that play.
There was, but that was almost a coverage. They just had such good coverage. The receivers aren't able to cut like they want to. And if Fort Leboeuf can get a little bit more pressure off the snap, I think they're going to have a good chance of stopping the run game. But right now, the offensive line has the advantage because they know when the call is going to be snapped. And we're just not getting the same kind of penetration that we normally get.
That sets up a 2nd down and 10 at the Fort Leboeuf 32-yard line. And there's a whistle and a timeout by Hickory. So with 9:44 to go, we will take a break for a word from our sponsors.
Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corey Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Leboeuf Creek Cattle, phone 814-572-7979. Waterford Beverage at 12001 Peach Street, phone 814-796-2507. Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill at 12711 Route 19 in Waterford, phone 814-796-2017.
All right, welcome back. And Hickory lining up with a 2nd down and 10 at the Bison 32-yard line. This drive started at their own 21-yard line, as they've had no problems running the ball so far. There's a handoff to Morrison. He gets hit right at the line of scrimmage, and he goes nowhere.
62.
As that's a back to the line of scrimmage, about a 0-yard gain.
Yeah, that was Stoltz.
Yep.
And when he grabbed him, Morrison just fell to the ground. He didn't even try to compete against him.
Absolutely.
He saw how big and strong he was, and he's like, okay, I'm just going to fall.
Brings up a 3rd down and long, 3rd and 10 at the 32-yard line, as the Bison try to hold Hickory on their first offensive possession here. Might be a passing down here as Dungy, he swings it out to Morrison, and he is hit right as he is about to catch the ball. As that ball falls incomplete.
I think they might have lost yardage on that. Was that a backward pass?
I don't believe so. I think they called it in.
Are you sure?
Well,
no, they lost yardage.
They are calling it in.
So it was a swing
lateral
pass. Yeah, they put the running back in motion out to the flat and threw it, and it was slightly behind the line of scrimmage, or backward pass behind the quarterback, I should say. And now they're going to hurry up offense.
So that brings up a 3rd and 15 at the 37. The ball went out of bounds as Hickory is lining up to go for it. Big play here early in this game, as Hickory needs to get down to the 22-yard line. Dungy back to pass, getting pressure. He's hit as he throws. The ball's tipped up in the air, and it falls to the ground incomplete, as the Fort Leboeuf Bison hold the Hickory Hornets on their first offensive possession and get a turnover on downs.
Yeah, so see, that's exactly what we needed to happen. They're going to have a hard time running the routes on this slick field, and when they can get the running back to have to run up to our big defensive linemen and our linebackers, it almost puts us at such an advantage. They're going to have a hard time beating us running up the middle all day. Their running back isn't built that way. He's a Ferrari. He's not a truck. You know what I'm saying? And we're a truck. And if they're going to collide, the truck is going to win.
The Bison take over on their first offensive possession. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Dominic Walters in the shotgun. He's going to hand it to Sadowski up the middle. He gets a short gain up to about the 40-yard line for about a gain of 3.
Yeah, and they try to give him a hard tackle. But we're kind of doing not a hurry-up offense, but we're doing a no-huddle offense.
Yep, not letting Hickory substitute here, as we'll give him a gain of about 3 up to the 40. Walters in the shotgun. Man goes in motion, hands it to Sadowski. He gets up over the 40, spin move to the 45, up to the 50, and across the 50 to the 49-yard line for a gain of 11.
And this is where the power of Fort Leboeuf shows up. Our offensive line is strong, and right now this wet field is exactly what they need. And Sadowski, with being able to run with so many different running styles, he doesn't have to have huge cuts. That was a nice
shotgun again. He's going to throw a little pass out to the flat, and it falls incomplete. Attended receiver Xavier Blos out there.
Yeah, and that's the slippery ball. Honestly, they're going to have a hard time passing tonight, even in the short passes. That ball is going to be slick all night. I would just keep running with Sadowski and our other running backs.
Absolutely. We haven't seen Walters take off yet, so might see a fake and have Walters keep it here sooner or later. As Walters in the shotgun. Takes the snap. He's going to drop back to pass. He's looking deep. He can't find anybody. He rolls out to the right. He's looking for a place to run, and he is hit right at the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of a yard.
Yeah, he looked to pass, and you could tell when the ball came back, when he went back into his Statue of Liberty pose with the ball by his ear, you saw him have to double clutch with the ball, and he cradled it back into his body, and he made the best decision and just run with it. Holding on the defense.
And I didn't even see the flag, but that is a 5-yard penalty. But more importantly, it's an automatic first down as Hickory is called for. Actually, it's a 10-yard penalty in high school, defensive holding. So that brings it up to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, right now we want to play power run football. That's our strength, and I don't believe Hickory's defense can stop us.
First down and 10 at the Hickory 39. Walters under center for the first time today, and he hands it off up the middle. And a short gain.
About a yard and a half.
Yep. Was that Sadowski or who was it? I think that was Sadowski.
Yeah. So, but that's okay. We can live with these short runs because they're not going to hold us to a run or 1 yard every single run. It's just not going to happen. So we can live with that.
Second down and 9 at the 38. Walters back under center. Now he's going back into the shotgun. Sadowski to his left. Walters gets the snap, hands it to Sadowski up the middle. Gets another short gain up to about the 37. We'll give him another yard on that play.
And right now, Hickory's stacking their linebackers to get the run up the middle. If we could get something off tackle to the outside, either right or left, right now we're on the right hash mark, or closer to the right hash mark. If we could get a run to the left, a sweep like we did last week that opened up our running game, I think that would come to their advantage. But right now, Sadowski's just hitting a wall because they're stacking that area.
Yeah, and
a good read option might help too.
I was going to say, watch for Walters to fake it one of these times and take off himself. As there's 4 receivers in the formation here. 3 to the right. Blos goes in motion. He hands it to Sadowski up the right side. First down over the 30 to the 26-yard line. And Skylar Sadowski gets an 11-yard gain.
Just like I was talking about, they just went to the right side. They didn't go outside the right tackle. They went inside the right tackle, but it still wasn't right up the middle. And he was able to just blow that up. That was a powerful run.
Just like we talked about in the opening, Fort Leboeuf getting these sustained drives is going to do wonders for them. As Walters takes the snap, he's going to fake the handoff this time, and he tries to run up the middle for a short gain. Give him a gain of about a yard on that play.
Yeah, and Hickory's still stacking the middle, even though we got to run to the outside. If he actually would have handed that to Walters only had one guy to beat. And that might have been a better choice, but I'm not sure if that was a read option or if it was a QB keeper from the call.
And they're set up here, second down and 9 at the 25. They are in Lucas, Kansas field goal range right now. As Walters in the shotgun, has Sadowski to his right. Takes a snap, hands it off to Sadowski. Can't find much as he stutter steps up, gets maybe another yard there as he gets up to the 24-yard line. And, they're not gaining a lot of yards, but as powerful as Sadowski is, he's given out some punishment. So, as we've seen in many games this year, that could pay dividends in the second half.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be all about running. But right now it feels like Fort Leboeuf is just trying to feel out Hickory's defense.
3rd and 8 at the 24. Walters takes a shotgun snap. He's going to run it up the middle, and he gets hit right over the line of scrimmage, maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, their left defensive end was not blocked at all. And as soon as Walters got the snap and he went to look downfield, the defensive back was about 3 feet away from him. So he did the only thing he could do and shot right up the middle. And right now Kansas is going to try to kick. The ball is going to be held at about the 32-yard line. But for how slick this field is, this is going to be a difficult kick.
42-yard field goal.
But if anybody can make it, he can.
Yep. Lucas Cans, Dominic Walters, the holder. Here's the snap. The hold is down. The kick is up. It's long enough, and it is good.
Ladies and gentlemen, he only took about a step and a half, and he just kicked that from the 32-yard line right down the middle. That's talent. That's impressive. That's really, really impressive. A step and a half.
As the Fort Leboeuf Bison take a 3-0 lead with 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter, and we will step aside for a word from our sponsors.
Wow.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Hickory Federal Credit Union. The Hickory Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Hickory Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Hickory Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Hickory, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at hickoryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Hickory Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
All right, and we are back getting ready to kick off, and Kantz is still taking a somewhat short kick. Well, maybe a little bit more normal as done in the past.
And Kantz runs up. It's a short kick. It's going to come down at the 27-yard line. Taken there, up over the 35 to the 40, close to the 40-yard line. Going to mark it right at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, they're not even going to give the Hickory a chance to return the ball with their speedsters. They're just not even going to give them an opportunity.
And that's a smart play.
So even though that's great starting position at the 40-yard line, that's a lot better than giving up a touchdown.
That last scoring drive was an 11-play drive covering 37 yards, but ending in the field goal from Kansas. So it is 3-0 Fort Leboeuf with under 4 to go here as Hickory comes out for their next offensive possession. Dungy takes a snap, and he is corralled in the backfield, and he dives forward, gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage, maybe half a yard.
Yeah, it took four different Fort Leboeuf players to bring him down, and he is slippery. He was pulling out of their grasps. They had their arms around him. But the team tackling was just too much for him. And as long as we can keep everybody going to the ball till the whistle and do the team tackling, we might be in pretty good shape.
Absolutely. They marketed just outside the 40, so we'll give them a gain of a yard. 2nd and 9 at the 41 officially. Dungy takes a snap. He's going to throw it deep. He's got a man, and it is caught. Wow. And he's down at the 5-yard line. What a catch by Hickory, number 10. Marzair Gardlock with the catch.
The ball was a beautiful moon ball, and when he caught that, he was stumbling forward as he caught it, and then he did a flip to the ground, and basically he was tackled at that point. I don't know how he got the ball pushed down the field that far with a wet football.
Yep, that was a nice throw and catch there.
I'm trying to see if he's wearing gloves. The quarterback has gloves on, and I don't think he did. He did that barehanded, and I'm not sure how he did that. That was magical.
That's a gain of 53 yards there. They're set up at the 6-yard line. Hand off to Morrison up the middle, and he's going to walk into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, well, when you
like that,
when you can throw it deep for 50-some yards, That's going to change things really quick.
Yep.
And that's one thing Fort Leboeuf's going to have to do. We're not going to be able to settle for field goals. We're going to have to get touchdowns if we're going to give up those kind of passing plays.
Absolutely. And, they were selling out to stop the run, and Hickory was able to hit the big passing play. They are now lined up for the extra point. And some movement up front.
Yep.
Let's see who moved first.
I don't know if that's offsides or a false start. 55 for Leboeuf.
And they're going to call this on for Leboeuf, so
Yeah.
that'll move it half the distance to the goal.
Yeah, Milner jumped, unfortunately.
So Hickory keeps their extra point, their kicking team on the field. They will continue to go for one as they try to extend the lead to 7-3. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and it is good. So with 2 minutes and 39 seconds to go here in the first quarter, Hickory takes a 7-3 lead.
Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the sunny 105.7 Corey Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by High T Fence Systems in Waterford, online at hightfenceinc.com. O'Brien Transmission Service in Youngsville, phone 814-563-7120. J.H. Napa Auto Parts in Corey, Union City, and Waterford, online at napaonline.com.
Yeah, on that deep pass, you basically had everybody bunched up at the line. I mean, everybody. And you had one defensive back on the receiver. And that pass almost went incomplete, but a lunge forward at the last minute, he was able to grab onto it, keep his footing for a few more steps before he flipped down at about the 2 or 3 yard line.
Gardlock,
that might open up their run game.
Yeah,
because if you're going to have to worry about a passing game like that, which statistically we didn't see that as being as big of a problem, but if you got to defend and have another safety back there, that's going to give them an opportunity to run the ball a lot more.
Yep, and Gardlock, the wide receiver, he just outran that ball as that ball looked like it was going to be overthrown. And here's the kick, and that is going to be fielded at the 2 yard line. Up over the 10 to the 15 to the 20.
He's going.
Still in bounds.
Oh, they called him. Oh.
It looked like he had he broke free down the sidelines, but they rolled him out of bounds. And that was that Blos?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, we don't have any open windows here, so it's hard for us to hear the whistles. So that might happen once or twice tonight.
They mark him out of bounds at the 22 yard line. And that's where Fort Leboeuf will take over on their second possession, trailing 7-3 with 2:33 to go here in the first quarter.
We need a good 10 to 15 play drive right now.
3 receivers in the formation. Walters in the shotgun. He's going to run it himself up over the – gets back right about to the line of scrimmage. Maybe lost half a yard on that play as the hole closed pretty quickly on that one.
Yeah, when Walters is running the ball, he's not hitting the hole nearly as hard as he did in previous games. So he's not seeing much to run through when he holds on to the ball. And with the speed that they have, they're able to get to him pretty quick.
They're going to spot that ball at the 21 yard line for a loss of 1. Second down and 11. Under 2 to go here in the first quarter. Walters takes a snap, drops back to pass. He's rolling to his right. He's going to try to run it himself, and he's knocked out of bounds right around the line of scrimmage. And there is a penalty, and that will give Fort Leboeuf an extra 15 yards and a first down.
Yeah.
As there was either a late hit or unnecessary roughness on the sideline.
And that was egregiously late. That was very, very late. They were past the field has really thick out of bounds lines, and they were late hit. He was past that very thick. It's probably like a 2.5 foot thick out of bounds line, and he still was holding him past that line when he threw him down.
And that will march the ball up to the 34 yard line, as that would have been a loss of yardage on that play. but that sets up a first down and 10 at the 34. As that is, Fort LeBeouf's going to need some of those calls go their way in this game if they want to pull off the upset. As Walters in the shotgun, Sadowski to his right. He's going to hand it to Sadowski around the left side, and Sadowski gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard on that play.
Yeah, right now Hickory is not worried about our passing game at all, and they're just flooding the line. They're jumping the snap, and our offensive line is not getting the same push that they got on their first drive.
Going to call it 2nd down and 9 here at the 35-yard line. Minute 15 to go here in the first quarter. Walters back to pass. He's rolling to his right. He flings it out to Sadowski near the sidelines for good enough for a first down up to the 50-yard line.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play. He got the snap. He got pressure from the left. He rolled out to the right. The defender that was covering Sadowski decided to go after Walters, and he just put a nice little floater over right into Sadowski's hands, and he was able to get a few extra yards and get out of bounds. That was a beautiful play by Walters.
Absolutely. Good vision by Walters to not try to run it and notice that Sadowski had broken free as that spots the ball right at midfield. First down and 10 at the 50 with 1:03 to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and that might be the type of play they have to do quite a bit. A lot of rollouts to the right. I think with how wet it is, rolling out to the left, being a right-handed quarterback, Walters might have a little bit more trouble getting that pass off.
Walters in the shotgun. Takes the snap. He's going to throw it to Strushin. Grabs it at the 50, breaks a couple tackles up over to the 45 to the 43-yard line, and that's a gain of 7 on that short pass.
Well, and this is where our depth is going to come in. So he threw it out to the flats. Strushin gave him a stiff arm, and he was able to get about 6-7 yards on that. And we're going to have to make sure we get all of our top players involved in this so they can't key up on one guy.
And Fort Leboeuf going no huddle as handoff to Strushin. He runs over a man and gets the first down up to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and our north and south runners, Strushin, Black, we need to get them the ball out in space anywhere we can. Get them against those smaller defensive backs and let them just run right over them. So the coaches, like they have all year, are making great adjustments compared, when watching what Hickory is doing. They definitely have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. So this drive is looking very impressive.
Absolutely. And with 10 seconds to go here in the first quarter, it doesn't look like Fort Leboeuf is going to run another play as the first quarter is winding down and it comes to an end. So we have one quarter in the books here in this semifinal matchup. Hickory leads 7-3.
This portion of Fort Leboeuf football on the Sunny 105.7's Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Marsh Real Estate Services, your local full-service realty team serving northwestern PA and southwestern New York with offices in Summit Township, Mill Creek, Harbor Creek, and Corey. Online at marshamarsh.com. Best of luck to the Fort Leboeuf Bison from Marsh Real Estate Services. Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Jim Brozell Construction at 9298 Peach Street in Waterford. Phone 814-866-2075. Wise Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Waterford. Online at wisept.com. Al's Appliance Sales and Service at 110 High Street in Waterford. Phone 814-796-4007.
And right now, I feel that Fort Leboeuf's doing exactly what they need to do. They're dinking and dunking and running the ball and keeping Hickory's offense off the field because we can see how explosive they are. I feel like our defense can hang with them, but if we make one mistake, they're going to get their points. It's just the way that it is.
Absolutely. And Fort Leboeuf has shown on their first two drives that they can move the ball against Hickory. Walters under center for this first play of the second quarter. Man goes in motion, hands it to Sadowski up over the 35. Gets hit and dropped at about the 34-yard line for a gain of 6.
Yeah, and Sadowski didn't even get hit until he was about 4 yards in, and then he put his shoulder down and hit a very large defensive lineman, and then 2 other Hickory players came in to jump on him, but he was able to push the pile forward for about a yard and a half more.
And they're going to spot the ball at the 35 for a gain of 5. Second down and 5. Walters up under center. And goes in motion. Walters going to hand the ball up the middle and fighting for extra yardage and close to a first down. And they're going to mark
that was Black.
And that was Brady Black up the middle.
Yep.
Just less than a yard short of a first down. As that's going to bring up a third down and very short.
And this is where the power in the power running game is coming in handy.
Walters under center. Third down. Oh, they do give him a first down at the 30-yard line. So first down and 10 at the 30. Handoff up the middle. And he's going to be stood up right there. Gains a couple yards.
Who was it? I'm not even sure who had the ball there. That was hard to see.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They're just running right up the middle now with Walters under center, which is a different approach than what they had before in shotgun. And I think that's giving them a little bit of an advantage at the offensive line. Now, if they can get those defenders to come back into the center and bunch up in there, they might be able to bounce it outside for a bigger run.
It's going to set up a second down and 5 at the 25. Walters in the shotgun, takes a snap, fakes the handoff, and he throws it out to the left, and it's caught. One-handed catch there by
Vimero.
Yep.
And that was beautiful.
Vimero.
So it was a slant, but he saw that if he let him into the slant, it would have been picked off. So he threw it off of Vimero's back shoulder, and Vimero was able to make that twist with a one-handed catch, bring it to the body, then push himself a little bit further, but he wasn't quite able to get the first down.
That's a third down and 2 now at the 22. So that's a gain of 3. Well, movement up front. And
false start or jump?
Looks like it might be on Hickory. Hickory jumped across.
Our linemen are giving high fives, so that was definitely on Hickory.
That is an offsides on Hickory, and that will give Fort Leboeuf a free first down, as that'll move the ball up to the 17-yard line. First and 10. Thank you, Hickory. As Fort Leboeuf trying to get the ball in the end zone to retake the lead. They had a lead early on in the first quarter, but that was short-lived as Hickory hit a big play on the second play of their ensuing drive and was able to score about a minute and a half after Fort Leboeuf did. 9:20 to go here in the second quarter. Walters under center. He's going to take the snap. He's going to fake a handoff. He's got Blos, and the ball was incomplete. He tried to throw it to Xavier Blos down the right sideline, but he underthrew it. Blos tried to come back to make the catch, but it short-hopped him.
Yeah, right now that ball, you could see it kind of slipped out of Walter's hands as he made the throw, and it was still rather accurate, but he just didn't he's not able to get the same zip on the ball that he normally does playing in this wet field. And while it's not raining, it's been raining all day, and the ball is definitely getting wet every time they put it down on the turf.
Second down, Walters hands the ball off. Up over the 15 to the 10-yard line, and that's Xavier Blos with that end-around run, and that's going to be a gain of about 7.
Yeah, it's going to be third down and about 3.5.
As they are moving, they are up to the Hickory 10-yard line now. Third down and 3. They can get a first down at the 7. Walters under center. Sadowski and Black and Blos in the backfield. Handed off to Blos. He gets around the left side, and he is stopped short of the first down as he is tackled right over the 10.
Now the question is going to be, are they going to – what down do we have? Fourth down?
Fourth down, yeah.
Are they going to kick a field goal, or are they going to go for the touchdown?
And
it looks like they're bringing Cants out onto the field.
Looks like, yep, they are bringing the field goal unit out on 4th and 3 at the 10.
At this point in the game, this is smart. You take the points if you can get them. But at some point, we have to be able to put the ball into the end zone. I wouldn't want to roll the dice trying to win this on just field goals.
This is going to be a 27-yard field goal attempt from the left hash. Here's the snap, the spot, the kick is up, and it is
no good to the left.
He kicked it wide.
Yeah, there's very little wind, but the field being slick, he took a little bit longer of a stride there kicking that as he did compared to the first one. He did a shorter stride, and he might want to go back to that because I think the momentum just carried his plant foot a little bit, and he slipped.
And with that missed field goal, Hickory was going to take over at the 20-yard line, as Fort Leboeuf can't afford to waste opportunities like that against a good team.
No, and now they're going to have to play a couple men back in case they go deep again, and that might open up Hickory's running game.
Hickory 3 receivers in the formation, as that's given to Morrison up over the left side, and Morrison fighting for more yardage, gets up over the 25 to the 30 and just over the 30-yard line for a first down.
I'll tell you what, he's got more moves than you could possibly count. I can't even tell you how many times he's spun and jumped side to side there. And we had a grip on him, but he's just able to pull away. So for being a fast guy, he's able to pull out of those hand tackles. They got to be able to get their arms around him.
Absolutely. Sets up a first down and 10 at the 31-yard line, and Dungy's going to take the snap, and he's going to run it himself over the left side. He gets up over the first down, up over the 50, the 45, and he is gang tackled right there at the 39-yard line of Fort Leboeuf, as that is a 28-yard run.
Yeah, if they choose to run with their quarterback, if they choose to run with Dungy, the extra blocker, it's going to be almost impossible for Fort Leboeuf to stop them right now because I don't see any player that's going to be able to keep up with them.
As that's first down and 10, Hickory at the Fort Leboeuf 39. There's a handoff to Morrison. He's trying the right side. He breaks through the line up to the 20, 15, 10, and into the end zone for a Hickory Hornets touchdown. And that goes 39 yards for Kelvin Morrison, as we can see why so many Division I schools are after him.
Too much speed. There's just too much speed. They have two players that are incredibly fast, and unless we come up with a magical scheme right now, I'm not sure how we're going to be able to stop them. Speed is just – he's able to get around even when we have an angle on him.
And it is good. So with 6:45 to go here in the first half, Hickory has taken a 14-3 lead.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Hickory Federal Credit Union. The Hickory Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Hickory Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Hickory Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Hickory, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at hickoryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Hickory Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
Well, and Doug, just like you were talking about in pregame, teams are able to get down into the red zone, but they're not able to punch it in. And that's what's happening right now because this easily could have been 14-14 at this point.
Absolutely. Fort Leboeuf has moved the ball on both of their possessions, but they've had to settle for field goal attempts on both of them, and that just won't do against a team like Hickory.
Well, Fort Leboeuf is going to have to eat the clock up for the rest of this half, or I'm afraid Hickory is going to score another touchdown.
And here's the kick. It's going to bounce at the 15, gets picked up at the 10, and that's Xavier Blos, and he's run out of bounds at about the 21-yard line, and that's where Fort Leboeuf will begin. And this is a huge drive here for Fort Leboeuf. If they can get some points on the board before halftime, Fort Leboeuf gets the opening kickoff in the second half.
Yep.
So, they can get right back in this ball game. They just have to stick with their game and –
The way things are looking, though, Fort Leboeuf is going to have to score a touchdown every single time they have the ball from now to the end of the game. Unless they just had that speed. It's like watching a grown man run against a 5-year-old. He's that fast. It's at a different level.
Walters takes a snap, fakes the handoff, and he goes with the option, and he pitches it to Xavier Blos, who gets dropped down at the 26-yard line for about a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, Morrison and Dungy look like track stars that should be running for the Olympics, and I'm not exaggerating. They're that fast.
That brings up a 2nd down and 5 at the 26-yard line. Walters going up under center with Sadowski behind him in the backfield. Blos goes in motion. He's going to fake the handoff. Walters throws it up, and it is off the hands of Aiden Strushin at the 40-yard line.
And that's a catch we had to have.
Yep, that would have been enough for a 1st down.
It was thrown a little high. He had to take a little bit of a jump. The timing wasn't quite right, and the ball just tipped off of his fingertips. But it was a catchable ball.
Absolutely. We're fortunate that wasn't intercepted, as the ball got tipped up in the air with a couple Hickory defenders around it. And that sets up a 3rd down and 5. Takes the snap, hands it off up the middle. Sadowski gets up over the 30-yard line, and that is enough for a 1st down as he gets dropped at the 32 for a 6-yard gain. And that was a play that the Bison needed there to move the chains.
Yeah, and right now running up the middle is our best bet. They have too much speed for us to try to run outside, and if we try to go really past 10 yards down the field passing, it doesn't seem like it's going to work. So we got to run up the middle and do passes out to the flat.
1st and 10 at the 32. Walters takes a shotgun snap, hands it to Sadowski up the middle, gets up to the 35-yard line for about a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, and that took about he ran up the middle about 3 yards in. He hit a wall of defensive players, and it took about 5 of them to knock him down. He was just pushing that pile.
Sets up a 2nd down and 7 at the 35. Clock winding under 5 minutes to go here in the 1st half. The Bison haven't really been stopped by Hickory until they've gotten deep in Hickory territory, so the Bison have been able to move the ball. They just haven't been able to get the ball in the end zone. As Walters takes a snap, hands it off up the middle. Sadowski gets a few yards up to about the 39-yard line for another 4-yard gain.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to give him a favorable spot. They might be giving him an extra yard from what I can tell from here. So it's going to be a nice 3rd and short, and another run up the middle and pushing the pile.
Sets up a 3rd down and 3 at the 39-yard line. 4:19 to go here in the 1st half. Walters in the shotgun. He's going to take the snap, fakes the handoff. He tried to roll out the pass. He gets up the middle. He's able to split a couple defenders, and he gets maybe a yard gain up to the 40-yard line.
And it looks like there might be a player hurt on Hickory's defense. He's holding his arm, but it doesn't look like he wants to come off the field. Number 9.
And it looks like Fort Leboeuf might keep their offense out on the field to go for this 4th down and 3 at their own 39-yard line.
That's Myers. That's their leading tackler with 100 tackles on the season. And if he's hurting, I might want to run the ball right at him.
Huge play in this ball game. 3:30 to go. 4th down for Fort Leboeuf. Walters under center. Looks to the sidelines, and the play clock is running down, and Fort Leboeuf got the timeout before the delay of game. So they will go over to the sidelines and talk about this, and we will take a break.
Support for this broadcast is provided by Family Ink Innovations, specializing in screen printing, banners, yard signs, and much more. Located at 319 High Street in Waterford and 104 West Smith Street in Corey, and online at FamilyInkInnovations.com. Phone 814-462-6628. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks Family Ink Innovations for their support.
Yeah, right now, you'd think with 3 minutes left before halftime, 3 minutes, 19 seconds, 14-3, a normal game, you would think punt. But the way that Hickory's able to move the ball and for the unbelievable speed they have on offense, I feel like this is the right decision to make. But the whole game is pretty much going to be decided right here on this play.
Absolutely huge play here. 4th down and 3 at their own 39-yard line. Dominic Walters gets up under center. Sends a man in motion. He's going to hand it off up the middle.
He's got it.
Pushing the pile, and he has got enough for a first down, as that was Sadowski, I believe.
He hit people right at the line of scrimmage, and the entire Fort Leboeuf team pushed every single Hickory player back and got a good chunk of yards.
It was almost like a modified tush push as they just pushed the pile as he gets up to the 46. And there's a swing pass out to the left flat, and that is caught. And that was Sadowski with the reception. Gains about a yard, getting up to the 47-yard line.
Yeah, right now, as soon as he caught that ball, he had to start dodging defenders. And I give him credit for trying to keep the defense balanced and throwing some other plays in there. But we're really only going to be able to move that ball by running it up the middle. I think those plays are just to keep the defense honest.
2nd down and 9 at the 47. Walters under center. Takes a snap. Hands it off. Up over the 50. And that's Xavier Blos, who gets up over the 50 to the 47-yard line of Hickory. So that's a gain of about 6 yards on that play.
Yeah, and right now our offensive line is dominating Hickory at a very clutch time. We're getting down to 2 minutes, so the question is going to be, are we going to have enough time to get into the end zone by running the ball?
3rd down and 3 at the 47-yard line. Walters takes a snap. He's going to throw it deep, and it's caught by Blos. He breaks a tackle at the 30, up to the 25, to the 20, and he's run out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Xavier Blos.
So Hickory was playing zone. He threw it over the defender's head, but in front of the defensive back, the safety. And as soon as he caught it, the safety hit him, and he just ran him over. And then he was able to give a little stiff arm and run near the sidelines.
That's a
out of bounds.
That's a 28-yard catch and run on that one, setting the Bison up 1st and 10 at the 19. There's a handoff to Sadowski, and he bowls his way up over the 15 for a gain of 4 yards.
Yeah, I think he might even have 5 on that one. They're showing him at 5. And right now, with 1:32, that pass play is exactly what they needed to do to get inside red zone and have a chance to score before the end of the half.
Ball spotted at the 15-yard line. 2nd down. Walters in the shotgun. Takes a snap, back to pass. He's flushed out of the pocket, and he just throws the ball away. There was a receiver in the area.
And that's how smart Walters is. You know, he knew he had to throw it away. He knew where his receivers were. And a less aware quarterback might have just chucked that and got an intentional grounding on that play or taken the sack, which would have put them out of scoring position.
And with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter, we have a 3rd down and 6 at the 15-yard line. Once again, Fort Leboeuf able to move the ball. Let's see if they can get into the end zone here. Walters in the pistol formation, takes the snap, rolls to his left. He's looking for a receiver. He finds a man. It's caught and
First
out
down.
of bounds right at the 1st down, and it looks like they're going to give him the 1st down.
Is that Strushin?
I believe so.
Yeah, what a play. What a play.
And that was right. He threw that right down to the sidelines, and Strushin was knocked out of bounds at about the 8-yard line, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know if there's such a thing as a power running game, but it's like they're using their tight ends for their entire passing game right now, knowing they're not going to beat them downfield. But when Walters rolls out and that defensive back comes up, he's able to just lob it right over their head for a catch.
And that sets up a 1st and goal. Under a minute to go here. Walters takes the snap. He's going to throw it out to the flat. It's caught. Strushin inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line.
And they're going fast.
As the clock is under 30 seconds. And
we called a timeout at 32
timeout.
seconds. So we'll take a message from our sponsors.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Hickory Federal Credit Union. The Hickory Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Hickory Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Hickory Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Hickory, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at hickoryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Hickory Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
Well, and at this moment, I know that teams have a hard time scoring touchdowns in the red zone against Hickory, but the way that they're moving the ball, I feel like they found a chink in Hickory's armor. I feel like the offensive coordinator, and for as smart as he is, and he is a very smart offensive coordinator, has found the types of plays that are going to work. The question is Hickory going to counter with a new strategy?
Second down and goal here at the 2-yard line, 32 seconds to go. Walters in the shotgun. Hands the ball off up the middle. Sadowski gets wrapped up right.
He's going.
He's pushing the line, and they are going to mark him just short of the end zone.
He's at the 1-inch line, the one blade of grass line. Honestly, I don't know how he didn't get in.
Yep, he was hit right at the line of scrimmage, and there's a timeout. We'll keep it right here as there's only 23 seconds to go as Fort Leboeuf has a third down and goal at the 1-yard line. And, yeah, Sadowski got hit even maybe a half a yard in the backfield.
Quit. He was pushing 4 or 5 Hickory guys all by himself.
Yep, he tried to spin out of it, but he just got swarmed under. But he just kept his legs moving and pushed the entire pile forward as he was stopped, like you said, right outside the goal line.
Well, and you know what? This is what Fort Leboeuf does. When they hit adversity, they get better. They eat adversity for breakfast. It's their protein. And they have done this all season. I don't know if they're going to win this game, but I absolutely respect the fact that they don't quit. And when things get hard, they just find a way to get better.
And third and goal inside the 1. That was Fort Leboeuf's last time out with 23 seconds to go. So if they do have a running play, they're going to have to get up quickly and get on the ball and run another play on fourth down. So Walters in the shotgun. Blos goes in motion. Walters going to take it himself.
Touchdown.
The right side. Touchdown, Dominic Walters.
What a great play by the offensive line. What a great drive by the skill positions. And that was a masterful play-calling job by the offensive coordinator. Oh, no.
There's a penalty.
Oh, no.
For Leboeuf. I don't know if it was after the touchdown or before.
There's a score. They didn't put the 7 on the board yet. No, it was not a touchdown. There must have been a holding.
And that's going to move back to the 6-yard line. Third and goal at the 6. 19 seconds to go. Dominic Walters in the shotgun. He takes the snap. Walters going to try to run it himself. Up over the 5 to the goal line. And
12 seconds. 12 seconds.
They mark him short. They're going to have to hurry up. 8, 7,
He's at the half-yard line.
6, 5. Walters gets the shotgun snap. Fourth down and goal. He's going to try to run it himself. He pitches it. And it's fumbled. And they are going to be held out of the end zone. Walters tried to run it off the left tackle. He got hit at the line of scrimmage, and it was clear that he was not going to get into the end zone. And so he tried to pitch it to, I'm not sure if that was Sadowski or Strushin that he tried to pitch it to, and the pitch was missed and fumbled.
That was the right play for him to make. That really was the right choice for him to make on that, because he was definitely stopped. He had 2 guys draped around him, and he really had no other way. And with the time running out, they made the right choice. He made the right choice to try to pitch that. It just didn't work. I am so frustrated for them. That was such a beautiful drive.
Yep. They had a touchdown called back. I didn't even see what the penalty was.
I'm pretty sure it was holding.
But
Yeah.
It was only a 5-yard penalty, so I don't think it was holding. But
oh, I'm sorry. That's a 10-yarder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that with no timeouts left, they weren't able to call a timeout to set up their last play, and it was just a scramble drill to try to get the last play off, and they were unsuccessful, as that will end the half at 14-3. Hickory leads. Now Fort Leboeuf will get the second half kickoff, but they moved the ball all 3 drives, and they only have 3 points to show for it.
All right, well, we're going to see what happens. We know by following Fort Leboeuf all season, we know that one half can look very different from one half to the other. And so anything could happen in this second half, and I'm expecting something great. These guys are just playing too hard right now to not have some level of success more than what they've experienced here in the first half of the football game. So we're going to go ahead and do our halftime broadcast, and when we come back, we will go ahead and do our Hickory Federal Credit Union halftime show before the start of the third quarter. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to today's broadcast of Fort Leboeuf Bison football on the Sunny 105.7 Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream. The Hickory Federal Credit Union halftime show is coming up shortly. Please stand by. Be sure to join us all season at sunny1057fm.org.
Additional support comes from Burbles Construction, Family Inc. Innovations, Leboeuf Creek Cattle, Waterford Beverage, Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill, High T Fence Systems, O'Brien Transmission, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Jim Brozell Construction, Wise Physical Therapy, and Al's Appliance Sales and Service.
Rich is just a really, really, really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free rate. The shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
If you're a business operator, there's one thing you want, and that would be for everyone to hear about your business. Maybe you're a new business, or you've moved to a new location, or maybe you have a new product, or you just want to be top of mind in your community. Sunny 105.7 has an active adult audience that wants to hear your message. You can reach our audience with our affordable advertising and underwriting programs tailored for your needs. Did you know that only half of the U.S. population is active on social media? But radio still reaches over 90% of all Americans every week, more than any other medium. Put the power of radio to work for your business. Get your message to the people that need to hear it on Sunny 105.7. Email canadotaradio@gmail.com or phone 814-732-0759 for more information. That's canadotaradio@gmail.com, phone 814-732-0759. Put the power of radio to work for your business.
Funding for this broadcast on the Sunny 105.7 Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is provided in part by the Fort Leboeuf Football Boosters, supporting the Thundering Herd since the 1980s. We thank the Fort Leboeuf Football Boosters for their support.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive. visit stoptextsstopwrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Thanks for tuning in to today's broadcast of Fort Leboeuf Bison football on the Sunny 105.7 Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream. The Hickory Federal Credit Union halftime show is coming up shortly. Please stand by. Be sure to join us all season at sunny1057fm.org.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Another teenager, victim to fake pills bought from social media. This doesn't seem like a drug deal, but it definitely is. Should buying prescription pills be that easy? Many fake pills contain fentanyl, and an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal. So listen, before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real. Brought to you by USPTO and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Where do my friends and other students find their voice? We find our voice through the performing arts, along with millions of other high school students. By expressing yourself in a role on stage, through an instrument, or at the debate podium, the performing arts give us freedom to find ourselves, to find our place. The stage is where I can play, perform, and compete with my friends.
Performing arts at your school is where creativity meets courage. Encourage the students in your life to find their voice through the performing arts. This message presented by the NFHS, where we encourage all students to play, perform, and compete together.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place and instead of what you came for, you found a phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/knowtherisks.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Hickory Federal Credit Union. The Hickory Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Hickory Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Corey Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Corey, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at coreyfcu.org. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Corey Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And now it's time for the Corey Federal Credit Union halftime show on the Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream. Be sure to join us for all of the action of Fort Leboeuf Bison football all season long at sunny1057fm.org. Now let's go back to the booth and rejoin our announcers for all of the action.
And welcome back to the Corey Federal Credit Union halftime show. That was a very suspense-filled first half, to say the least. I felt my blood pressure going up a little bit there, Doug.
Absolutely.
But it is still only 14-3, and Fort Leboeuf does get the ball coming out of halftime.
Just to recap the last 30 seconds of the first half a little bit. Fort Leboeuf had the ball third down in inches and right outside the goal line. Dominic Walters ran what seemed to be a touchdown run. There was a flag. We didn't see it until the official was making the call. So it was a 5-yard penalty on Fort Leboeuf that wiped out the touchdown and moved the ball back to the 6-yard line. The clock began to continue to run after they spotted the ball, so that put it under 20 seconds to go. Walters had the ball third down and goal at the 6. He tried to run it again. He got stopped right at the 1-yard line, and with under 10 seconds to go, with no timeouts left, Fort Leboeuf had to try to scramble and get off one last play to try to score. On the last play, Walters tried a quarterback sneak. He got stopped. He knew he wasn't going to get into the end zone, so he tried to pitch the ball to try to keep the play alive. The pitch went awry and was recovered. I don't even know who recovered it, but it was recovered outside the end zone, so it was the play ended with Fort Leboeuf not scoring a touchdown there. So Fort Leboeuf's only had 3 possessions in this game. They have been successful on all 3 possessions in terms of moving the ball. That last drive was 17 plays.
Yeah.
You know, they had a 21 or 22 play drive earlier in the season. This was 17 plays to not score any points. And the Bison are down 14-3. But this could easily be a 21-14 Fort Leboeuf lead.
It could be. It could be. So what do they have to do in the second half? Well, they have to finish the drives. How do they do that? I think they've shown that what's worked the most right now is running up the middle, give it to all three of our backs, or four of our backs, right? Get the ball to Blos, Black, Strushin, Sadowski, and the passes out to the flats. It seems like the only time we've been able to get the ball pushed down the field with a pass, and I wouldn't even call it being pushed down the field, I'd say about 10 yards, is when Walters rolls out and the defensive back comes up to stop him, and he's able to lob it over their head for a catch. Now, he has made a couple nice pass plays on that last drive from the pocket, which is good to see. So he might be getting a better feel against this defense as well. So I'm not ready to check it in quite yet, because they have shown that they've been able to learn from what Hickory's doing. They've been able to change their offense a little bit. We just have to finish it. And it's almost like when we were down at that goal line, each time they're stacking the line so much they're almost daring us to pass the ball against their defensive backs into the corner of the end zone. Now, that might have to be something that we try to do on the next drive or the next time we get down to the goal line. The question is, do these defensive backs have so much speed that if we try to make that long throw into the corner of the end zone, are they going to be able to step in front and pick it off and return it for a touchdown?
Right. And just a couple stats from the first half. In the battle of the running backs, Skylar Sadowski and Kelvin Morrison of Hickory. Sadowski has 57 yards rushing, Morrison 82. So, Morrison has a little bit more yards rushing, but, the big play of the game was that 53-yard pass play, which, Hickory's not known as a passing team, but that really set them up for one of their touchdowns, for their first touchdown to take the lead.
Well, and on that pass play, because of the speed that they have, it seemed like Dungy just threw that as far as he possibly could, and he just had so much faith in the speed of his receiver, and that was faith that was justified because he was able to run under it and make a fingertip catch.
Absolutely. He basically outran the pass because that ball looked like it was going to be overthrown the whole way, and Gardlock just turned on the jets and was able to run under it.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize enough, Dungy and Morrison, their speed, I can see why 13, you said 13 Division I schools?
Yeah.
Have been recruiting him, and it's painfully obvious why. That's the kind of speed that training doesn't teach. That's just a God-given talent. And I know that, the science of speed has increased, and people know how to train for the quick twitch muscles and all of those different things nowadays as compared to when I was a kid. But there's just some people who are just born fast, and they are two of those people.
Absolutely. And, Hickory, they're averaging over 30 points a game. Fort Leboeuf held them to 14 points, mainly because Fort Leboeuf has been able to move the ball effectively. There hasn't been a punt in this game.
There hasn't. And if they would have had 10 more seconds, I truly believe they would have put it into the end zone.
Absolutely. And, each team has had only 3 possessions in this first half. Fort Leboeuf has had the more sustained drives in this half. Hickory has had more of the quick strike abilities. So we'll see if Fort Leboeuf can tighten up that defense a little bit. They did hold Hickory on their first possession and got a turnover on downs. So Fort Leboeuf's going to need more of that. And as long as Fort Leboeuf continues to play their offense the way they are, they just need to finish drives. And like I said, they've had 3 excellent drives, but have had a field goal, a missed field goal, and the last possession they technically turned it over on downs because that was 4th down.
Yeah, and when Hickory can bring in the red zone, you can bring your safeties up and really cheat. And when Hickory can do that with their speed, the only choice we have is to go right up the middle, and that's where most of the players are. So we're just going to have to outmuscle them. We're going to have to want it more than them when it gets down to that position again.
And here's the second half kickoff, and that ball is going to bounce at about the 2-yard line and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So Fort Leboeuf will begin the second half at their own 20-yard line. And Fort Leboeuf, like I said, they moved the ball pretty well. They converted on a 4th down play last series. They kept the drive going. So we'll see if they can. They need to continue doing what they did in the first half, just get the ball into the end zone. As Walters in the shotgun, Sadowski to his left, faked Sadowski, and he throws it up over the middle, and it is caught.
That was a beautiful pass.
That's Mikey Vomero with the catch.
He wanted to throw it immediately. There was a defensive end that put his hand up and got in the way. He pumped it, pulled it back in, and then short-armed it and zipped it right to Vomero, who was blanketed with coverage. Vomero has shown to be completely on point tonight with his hands. He is catching some difficult passes.
That's a 5-yard gain up to the 25. It's going to set up a 2nd down and 5. Walters takes the snap, hands it to Sadowski up the middle. He's fighting for yards. He gets about 3 yards up to the 28-yard line for a 3rd down and short.
Yeah, and that's the same run. Run up the middle, hit a wall, push the pile. Run up the middle, hit a wall, push the pile. Sadowski and Blos and Black and Strushin, they're going to be tired tonight, but that's what they're good at.
Walters under center on this 3rd down and short play. Blos goes in motion. Walter's going to keep it himself around the right side, and he is going to have enough for a 1st down up over the 30-yard line to about the 31. As Walters hasn't had much running room in this game today, but he had enough there for the 1st down.
And it almost looks like they've adjusted to the ball. I didn't think that the field was going to dry out, but it feels like they're moving a little differently down there, and that the ball, that was the first time I saw Walters throw it with a little bit of zip. So they must be feeling more comfortable out there.
Absolutely. Walters in the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it to Sadowski up over the right side, and he dives forward for about a 2-yard gain up to about the 33-yard line.
Yeah, he got hit right at the line of scrimmage, and he just kept rolling and spinning off of his blockers and tacklers till he was able to get about 3 yards.
Going to set up a 2nd down and 8 at the 33. Fort Leboeuf going no huddle. Not really a hurry up, but Walters in the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it off, and that is Sadowski, and he is wrapped up in the backfield. Maybe a loss of a yard on that play.
Yeah, that's going to put him at 3rd and long. That's going to put him in a passing position although right now Fort Leboeuf's going to be willing to go for it on 4th down. So this really is still 2-down territory.
Absolutely.
So I'm not sure if you're going to want to pass it here, go deep here, or run it, but they're definitely not going to punt after this. I can't believe that they would do that.
Yeah, Walters lining up in the shotgun. 3 receivers out to the right side, 1 to the left. Walters straight back to pass. He's going to throw it deep down the middle to Vomero.
And a flag.
It falls incomplete, but they are going to get a pass interference call on Hickory as the Hickory sidelines protesting there. But
that was a beautiful pass. That pass was put right between 2 defenders, right on the numbers to Vomero. The safety came over, made contact slightly before the ball got there, and he was a defenseless receiver. So pass interference is what they're going to call.
So that is a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. So that will set it up at the 47-yard line.
And it's nice to see that Walters can put some zip on the ball and push the ball down the field. That's going to open up our offense a lot more, which is probably going to open up our running game, because that was the first opportunity we really had to spread the defenders out.
And even with the pass interference, Vomero almost came up with that catch down the middle of the field. But that sets up a 1st down and 10 at their own 46-yard line. Walters takes the snap, back to pass. He's going to throw it deep again. Vomero's there, and it falls incomplete. Almost intercepted that time by number 4, Merlin Peterson of Hickory.
Yeah, and the defensive back Peterson, he gave a big cushion. So when that ball was thrown, he already was looking back for the ball, and he was in a position to jump, and Vimera had to turn into a defender on that one. Peterson saw that throw from the time it left Walter's hands, so we really didn't have much of a chance to catch that one.
2nd down and 10. Walters under center. Takes a snap. He hands the ball off up over the close to the 50-yard line, and Xavier Blos for about a 3-yard gain.
And that was the biggest hole I've seen in quite some time, running up the middle. And that's what throwing down the field can do for you. Even though he hit 2 defenders and it was a really hard tackle and he kind of spun to the ground after he got hit, it does show that pushing the ball down the field gives us a much better advantage at running the ball. And maybe what Fort Leboeuf has to do is when they get near the 20, maybe they need to throw the ball to the end zone and not even worry about being in the red zone.
3rd down and 7 at their own 49-yard line. Walters takes a snap. He's going to roll to his right. He's going to throw it out, and it's caught by Blos up over the 45 to the 42-yard line of Hickory, as that is another 1st down for Fort Leboeuf.
This is a very different team than what we saw in the first half, and that's kind of what Fort Leboeuf does with their football game. But they're almost looking like they're playing a West Coast offense at this moment in time, and they look so comfortable doing it.
They do. And that's going to spot the ball at the 42-yard line of Hickory, once again in Hickory territory. And there's a timeout on the field for a minute.
I think
somebody had
equipment.
I believe it was an equipment issue that they needed to get somebody off the field to make a substitution. So Fort Leboeuf back at it. 8:18 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Walters in the shotgun. He's going to take this low snap. He's back to pass. He swings it out to Aiden Strushin, who gets up over the 40 to the 35-yard line. And they are going a little pass happy here in the second half, but it seems to be working.
Something has clicked with Walters. I think that last play at the end of the first half lit a fire in him, because every throw he's making is spot on right now. He sees the field, and he's not hesitating to pull the trigger.
Absolutely. 2nd down and 3 at the Hickory 35. Walters under center. He's going to take the snap, hands it to Blos around the end, and he gets up over a 1st down and up close to the 30-yard line for about a 4-yard gain.
Blos just carried that defender like he was a horse, and he was taking him for a ride. He carried him, and even though most of it was running parallel with the 1st down marker, he had to have carried him for a good 5 to 7 yards before he was able to push him forward and get that 1st down.
He did.
What great effort.
Yep, Xavier Blos is running hard today, as that sets up another 1st down and 10 for the Fort Leboeuf Bison at the 31-yard line. Walters under center, takes a snap, hands it off up the middle. Sadowski got nowhere, and they pull him down, as there's a gain of, it gets back to the line of scrimmage for about no gain. That was kind of a messed up handoff, as it was, the timing was a little bit off.
Yeah, I'm not sure who was at fault there, but the quarterback and the running back didn't go the path they looked like they should have. And so when he went to hand it off, it almost looked like Walters was going to get hit by the running back.
And they give him a loss of a yard on that play, marking it back to the 32-yard line. 2nd down and 11 at the 32. Walters under center. Walters going to take the snap. Hands it off up the middle to Sadowski. And once again, he breaks through the line of scrimmage. He was stood up at the line of scrimmage for no gain, but he somehow busted out of there.
Well, he just pulled a Houdini. He just pulled a Houdini.
He did.
I don't know if he ran underneath somebody's leg like a little kid or what, but he was there, and I'm glad that they didn't blow the whistle on forward progress, because that's our game right now.
Absolutely.
And he squirted out of there and got a 1st down. What a beautiful play.
That's a 16-yard gain up to the 16, as Walter's going to hand it off to Blos around the – now that was is that Black or Blos?
That's Black.
Yeah, that was Black, who gets up to the
and right now the
15.
energy, and right now the energy, the whistle blew, and Black kept pushing against the defensive back falling forward. So these guys are in the zone right now. You know, when a great challenge matches your skill set, you just get in the zone, and right now they're not thinking, they're just reacting. They're just setting the tone, and they're moving the ball down in a much different way than they did in the first half.
2nd down and 9 at the 15. Man goes in motion. Walter's going to take it out himself up the middle, up to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown! Dominic Walters. There was a huge hole up the middle, and he just split the defenders in half as he gets into the end zone for a 15-yard touchdown.
Dominic Walters is in the zone. If anybody out there knows what it's like to be in the zone when you play a sport where everything else is moving in slow motion, that's what he is right now. He just willed this entire team down the field. What a great leader. What a great leader.
And Lucas Cant's on for the point after. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and it is good. And that makes the score 14-10 Hickory, as Fort Leboeuf uses up more than half the quarter. And they cut the lead to 14-10 with 5:43 to go.
This portion of Fort Leboeuf football on the Sunny 105.7's Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Marsh Real Estate Services, your local full-service realty team serving northwestern PA and southwestern New York with offices in Summit Township, Mill Creek, Harbor Creek, and Corey. Online at marshamarsh.com. Best of luck to the Fort Leboeuf Bison from Marsh Real Estate Services.
So just to point something out, when Walters went into the end zone, he took a pretty good hit, and he wasn't the holder on that extra point attempt. So as we were running the commercial, or I'm sorry, the sponsor, we were wondering why they didn't go for 2 to kind of put them within field goal range. And I think Walters is typically their holder, right?
Yes.
So since he wasn't holding, they are able to be out there possibly. That might be why they chose to just go with the extra point. But they're in the zone right now.
Absolutely.
Now, are they going to be able to do the same on defense? That's going to be the question. But I'm going to tell you right now, win or lose, Fort Leboeuf has shown up to play football today. And Hickory has the fastest players I've seen all season. Even with Farrell, I think that these players are faster than the players we saw against Farrell, and they're doing everything in their power to stay in this game. They have nothing to be ashamed about.
5 minutes and 43 seconds to go here in the third quarter, as Fort Leboeuf has cut the Hickory lead to 14-10. Lucas Cant's lining up for the kickoff. And here it is. It's an onside kick, and it's recovered easily by Hickory.
That was the worst bounce we could have hoped for. It was a straight bounce. But I don't blame them for doing that. And quite honestly, the rest of this game might be onside kicks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that Hickory recovers the ball at their own 47-yard line, as Cans kicked it straight up the middle, but it bounced right into the arms of a Hickory up man, and it was recovered fairly easily. So that is going to have Hickory starting this possession at their own 47-yard line. Dungy takes a snap, hands it off to Morrison up the middle, and he is smacked hard by Ethan Horn, and I couldn't see who the other one was. Was it Black?
They wrapped him up, and they sandwiched him to the ground. Oh, my, one half to the other. I don't know what happened at halftime, but these guys are on fire right now.
And that's a no gain on that play. 2nd down and 10 at the 47-yard line. Dungy in the pistol formation, hands it to Morrison, fakes the handoff, and swings it out to the right side. It is caught in the backfield by number 4, Merlin Peterson, and he is hit immediately.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a wide receiver screen, and Blos just lit him up. I am surprised that was even a complete pass or even not a fumble. Right now, Fort Leboeuf is not even thinking about what they're doing. They're just seeing the target, and they're going full speed.
And that was a loss of 2, bringing up a 3rd down and 12 at their own 45-yard line. The Bison have come out fired up in this half as they know they've missed some opportunities. Dungy in an empty backfield, back to pass, throws it up over the middle, and it's dropped.
Yep.
It would not have been enough for a first down anyway, but that ball hit the receiver right in the hands.
And number 4, Huck, was right there. But you can tell by the way that Fort Leboeuf has come out that receiver was scared to catch the ball. Like, that's what it looked like to me. It hit him right in the numbers, and he was ready to fall immediately. So there is something going out there with the energy of Fort Leboeuf that is totally changing the way this game is being played right now.
And we have our first punt of the game as Hickory lines up. It's a short, high punt. It's caught at the 25 on a fair catch by Wolforth. And Fort Leboeuf will begin their next drive at their own 24-yard line.
And just like all season, when Fort Leboeuf has adversity, they only get stronger. I'm going to nickname them the Hulk because every time they get knocked down, they just get better.
And Fort Leboeuf down by 4 points with 4 minutes and 13 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Come out with an opportunity to try to take the lead.
Is there such a thing as a Blue Hulk in Marvel Universe? Because if there is, they're the Blue Hulk. I got to Google that.
Yep. Fort Leboeuf has had success on all 4 of their drives so far. This drive number 5 as Walters lines up under center. Takes the snap, hands it to Blos around the right side. He gets up over the 25 to about the 27-yard line for about a gain of 3. And they're using that end around effectively as a little change of pace from Sadowski.
And right now you can see Hickory is trying to jump around and get the energy to shift, but it doesn't seem to be working at this moment.
2nd down and 7 at their own 27-yard line. Dominic Walters under center. Takes the snap. He hands the ball off up the middle. Fighting for yards is Sadowski, and he gets close to a first down.
Yep. And once again, there was nowhere to run, and he did a little skip in between the blockers. Their knees were touching, and he skipped right over their knees, and it looks like we have an injury. I'm not sure who it is.
And that was a 5-yard gain up to the 32-yard line.
Someone's taking a knee.
And we will take a timeout ourselves as they attend to the injured player.
This portion of Fort Leboeuf football on the Sunny 105.7's Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Marsh Real Estate Services, your local full-service realty team serving northwestern PA and southwestern New York with offices in Summit Township, Mill Creek, Harbor Creek, and Corey. Online at marshamarsh.com. Best of luck to the Fort Leboeuf Bison from Marsh Real Estate Services.
All right, so that is Strushin who's taking a knee. And they're talking to him. He's not laying on the ground. He's just kind of squatting at this moment, which is a good sign. I'm wondering if he got something in his eye because their attention seems to be around his head. He doesn't seem to be injured per se, unless he got poked in the eye or something of that nature.
Lost a contact or something, who knows.
Well, when you're pushing a pile like they are, things start happening.
Mm-hmm.
Hands go to the face. It might not be seen by the referee. And, these guys are clawing and pushing for every inch they can get.
And he's jogging off the field, so he's
okay.
Whatever the issue was he's going to have to come out for one play, but I expect to see him back in after this play.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, there is a Blue Hulk, by the way.
And we're back to action here. 3:19 to go in the third quarter. 3rd down and 2 at their own 32-yard line. Dominic Walters under center. Takes the snap. Hands it to Blos, trying to get around the edge. And he dives forward. Let's see where they're going to mark it.
He got close, but I don't know if his foot hit out of bounds or not.
They're going to mark it at the 34, which is where they needed to go.
He's got about a yard. 3rd and short.
They're going to mark it at the 33, so 4th down and 1, and they're going to go for it, and they're lining up quick. Walters in the shotgun. 4th and 1. Takes a snap, gives it to Sadowski. He's hitting the backfield. He's pushing.
It's so close.
I think he got it.
The referee seems to be lined up with the first down marker.
And they give it to him. First down. Tough run by Skylar Sadowski.
Yeah. And we are on the side of the Hickory fans, and they did not like that whatsoever.
As that ball is marked at the 34-yard line for a gain of 1. And a fourth down conversion keeps the drive alive. 2.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Walters back in the shotgun now. Takes the snap. He's going to fake the handoff, and he's going to be brought down right at the line of scrimmage. As that play didn't have a chance from the beginning.
No, Walters wasn't able to get any speed going, and the defensive lineman was able to spin him down pretty quick.
That sets up a 2nd down and 10 at their own 34-yard line.
And it looked like Strushin was able to make it back out onto the field.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, I think that might have been the reason why we weren't getting momentum with our line, pushing the defensive lineman down the field.
Walters takes the shotgun snap. He's going to roll to his left. He throws it out to the sidelines. It's caught. He breaks the tackle, and that is Xavier Blos up to it's going to be close to a first down, and they're going to mark it at the 44, so that is enough. Let's see. It's going to be awfully close. They mark it at the 44, which is where they needed to get to.
I'm not sure if they're going to have to measure this or not.
The referees are
looking the first down marker from my vantage point is about 2 inches past this yard line, so they probably have 2 inches to go.
Yep, so it's going to be 3rd down and inches right outside the 44-yard line. Walters under center. Takes a snap and a whistle.
I don't know what that was.
It's going to blow the play dead, and I think it's delay of game on Fort Leboeuf. So that's going to move it back 5 yards.
Walters was under center a little too long, and I was wondering why that was. I thought maybe they were trying to get him to jump open, but they weren't able to get the ball off in time.
It's going to set up a 3rd down and 6 at the 38-yard line. Walters under center. Black goes in motion. Handoff up the middle. Sadowski is hit right. Oh, no.
Walters had the ball.
Nope. My fault. Walters faked the handoff.
Wow.
And he is a master of that at that
the read option.
Action.
He kept that ball in his belly, and now they're going to a hurry-up offense.
And that's a 10-yard gain for a first down.
Walters is on fire. Mentally, he's playing at a different level than everybody else right now.
1st and 10 at the 48. Walters takes the snap. This time he does hand off. Lots of running room for Strushin up over the 35 to the 30.
What was that, a 30-yard run?
And close to the 25. They're going to mark him out of bounds at the 24. But
that was close to a 30-yard run, but we have a flag on the field.
And it looks like they're moving back. That was a nice run by Aiden Strushin. Got inside the 30-yard line.
They're conferencing. They said give him the ball. Yep, they're going back.
Holding on Brady Black. And that's going to move him back 10 yards.
I wasn't watching Brady on that play, so I'm not sure how that occurred. But I don't think now they're back at the original line of scrimmage. Is that correct?
Oh, they're going to move it back 10 yards from there. The holding must have happened downfield.
Oh, I see.
So that puts the ball at the 49-yard line. So it's actually
9 yards.
It's actually a 1st and 9.
Okay.
At the 49. And Walters rolling out to his right. He's looking to throw. He's going to run it himself. He gets up over the 45 to the 44-yard line for a 5-yard gain.
So they did the rollout to the right, and the defensive backs for Hickory decided to cover the receivers instead of give up the pass, and so Walters just decided to get a nice little 5-6 yard gain.
Absolutely. That's going to set up a 2nd down and 4 at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Walters is playing at a level that is just, I teach, and in school they talk about being in the zone where your talent level matches the challenge that you're trying to face. And right in football is able to match. And right now, the Fort Leboeuf crowd is cheering really nice, along with the Hickory crowd. But for being a long drive, we have a decent showing of Fort Leboeuf fans out here tonight.
And that will be the end of the third quarter as Hickory leads 14-10. And don't go anywhere because we have an exciting fourth quarter to come as Fort Leboeuf is on the move trying to take the lead. And we will be right back.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Hickory Federal Credit Union. The Hickory Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Hickory Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Hickory Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Hickory, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at hickoryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Hickory Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a tremendous game. I wish we could have broadcast it for you this evening with video, but Fort Leboeuf is on the prowl with down 14-10 at the start of the fourth quarter.
2nd and 4 at the 45. Walters rolling out to his left. He finds a receiver. It's caught up over the 40 to the 38-yard line, and that is Aiden Strushin for a 17-yard gain.
That man is on fire. He is so consistent. He is so consistent. Consistency every single time. He makes me think of Mark Bruner. You know, throw the ball to him. He's going to catch it 99 times out of 100.
And that sets up a 1st down and 10 at the 29-yard line of Hickory. Fort Leboeuf on the move. And little miscommunication as Walters tried to hand off, but the running back ran into Walters. But Walters decided to keep the ball himself, and he made the most of it and gets about a 7-yard gain up to the 24-yard line, about a 5-yard gain.
Right now, for whatever reason, they've had a few issues like that in the backfield, but it's come to their advantage for one reason or the other.
2nd down and 5 at the 24. Bison on the move. Walters pitches it out to Sadowski up over the right side, and there's multiple flags on the play as Sadowski had enough for the 1st down. Let's see what the call is.
My guess it's in the area of holding, but we'll wait and see. And there were two different officials. 2 flags.
Yep. And it is holding on Fort Leboeuf. So that will move the ball back. It will remain 2nd down.
All right, so we got 2nd down, and
they move the ball back to the 34-yard line.
2nd and 15.
Yep.
All right, let's see what they can do now. They've been passing the ball, so this isn't as scary as it might have been if it was in the first quarter where they had a hard time throwing the ball.
Bison can get a 1st down at the 19-yard line as Blows goes in motion. Walters back to pass. He's hit just as he throws it, and the ball falls incomplete right over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, his forearm was hit as he was moving it forward. It probably went about 15 feet in the air, and it dropped between 2 Hickory defenders and 1 diving Fort Leboeuf player.
That sets up a 3rd down and long, 3rd and 15 at the 34-yard line. Definite 4-down territory here.
If you would have told me that Hickory would only have 14 points in the fourth quarter of this playoff game, I would not have believed you.
Absolutely. Walters under center. Takes the snap. Fakes the handoff straight back, and he is sacked. He is hit at the 40-yard line and driven backwards.
And he did a good job holding on to the ball and not fumbling because he did not see that defensive player until the last second.
Yep. And
at this point,
here you might punt. Here
I don't think they're going to have a choice. They're going to have to punt because that's just a lot of ground they have to make up on.
Absolutely. And if they can pin them back inside the 10-yard line, you know, that'll be big. So they're marking the ball at the 39-yard line. Lucas Cants is out for the punt. Fort Leboeuf's first punt of the game.
And you never know. This could be a fake punt. You just never know. I doubt it.
They got a long ways to go. So he punts it, angling it towards the sidelines. It's going to bounce. And it takes the bounce into the end zone. He had it angled towards the sidelines. It hit outside the numbers, but instead of bouncing towards the sidelines, it bounced into the end zone.
Well, and number 4 for Hickory was running down the field, taking care of one of our tacklers, and I thought maybe it had a chance to hit him in the back, and maybe we had a chance to jump on the ball, but it did not.
With 9:48 to go here in regulation, Hickory takes over at their own 20-yard line, clinging to a 14-10 lead.
Now, is Fort Leboeuf going to be able to continue this energy they've been playing with?
Dungy takes the snap. He's going to take it himself around the left side. He's up over the 25 to the 30, breaks into the secondary up over the 35, and run out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
Yeah, the intensity they've been playing at for all of the third quarter and for for at least a couple minutes of the fourth is going to be hard to sustain. But all they need is one turnover, and this game, it goes in their favor.
First down and 10 at the 36 for Hickory. Dungy in the shotgun, takes the snap. He's going to give it to Morrison. Tries the right side. He is hit and driven backwards, and he got very little, maybe a yard or two. Looks like they're going to mark him about the 37 for a gain of 1. The Hickory fans calling for a late hit out of bounds, but it was definitely not an illegal hit.
Yeah, and right now you can see Hickory is trying to get their momentum with their speed by running to the outside. Fort Leboeuf is looking a little on the tired side right now, but they were able to keep up with them on that play.
And they give him no gain, so second down and 10 at the 36.
23, defensive back. He's playing press coverage.
Dungy takes the snap. He's going to take it himself around the left side, up over the 45 to the 50. It's a foot race now, and he slides down at the 33-yard line, and that is a huge gain for Christian Dungy as he gains 30 yards on that play to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, and right now Fort Leboeuf they don't have anything left in the tank. These holes are huge, and it's almost like they're running casually down the field.
First down and 10 at the 32-yard line of Fort Leboeuf as Hickory trying to extend their 4-point lead. Dungy takes the snap. He's going to hand it to Morrison, and there's no one there. He gets up over the right side, and that's another first down or close to it. As he's run out of bounds at the 23-yard line for about a gain of 9.
There wasn't a single Fort Leboeuf player who was able to get away from one of their blocks, and literally they blocked the Fort Leboeuf player into the running back, and it was almost like their own blocker pushed him out of bounds at that point.
Yep, he had a wide open. There was nobody on the right side.
I'm almost 50 years old, and I think I could have got positive yardage on that.
Absolutely.
That's how much room there was.
That sets up a second down and 1 at the 23-yard line. Dungy takes the snap. He's going to hand it to Morrison, and he is trapped in the backfield. He makes a move. He gets out of it and up over the 20 to the 15. How did he get out of that? He was trapped in the backfield for about a 7-yard loss, and he made a move and was able to make positive yardage and get the first down.
3 Fort Leboeuf players had him dead to rights, and he stepped backwards so quick. It almost was Barry Sanders-esque, and the Fort Leboeuf players weren't anticipating that, and then he just took off, had an angle where he was able to take it down the left side. You can't teach that kind of speed. And they had the angles. They did their job. It's just impossible to keep up with that kind of running.
There was 3 players, defenders right there, and he made them all miss. Sets up a first down and 10 at the 16. 8:41 to go. Dungy takes a snap. Morrison trying the middle, and a shoestring tackle by number 15, Graydon McDevitt of Fort Leboeuf. as he gets back to the line of scrimmage, but he saved a possible touchdown on that play.
Yeah, that was a pretty amazing tackle by somebody whose name we haven't called very much this year, and he's got to be proud of himself to be able to make that tackle. He shot out of that past those offensive linemen and just grabbed that ankle and was able to take him down.
2nd down and 10. Dungy's going to try the left side himself. He gets up over the 10 to the 5. He stays in bounds. Touchdown. Hickory gets into the end zone to take a 20-10 lead. Christian Dungy, the quarterback, runs it in from 16 yards out.
Yeah, and that this is going to be a tough touchdown to take, because the way we're moving the ball, we have to fight for every inch. We haven't had any big splash plays today. I'm not sure how they're going to overcome this unless we're able to run one of those post routes to Vomero.
Here's the extra point. It's up, and it is good. So with 8 minutes and 2 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter, the Hickory Hornets take a 21-10 lead, and we will step aside for a word from our sponsors.
Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corey Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Leboeuf Creek Cattle, phone 814-572-7979. Waterford Beverage at 12001 Peach Street, phone 814-796-2507. Wagon Wheel Bar and Grill at 12711 Route 19 in Waterford, phone 814-796-2017.
Well, and I think right now the offensive coordinator is going to have to pull something out of his magic hat to get the ball pushed down the field, because with 8 minutes and for how tired the defense looks, they're just going to have to try to take risky plays to get the ball down the field quicker. And I hate saying that, but they're just going to have to throw it deep and wait for a receiver to make an athletic play.
Here's the kick taken at the 7-yard line. Up over the 20 to the 25 to the 26, and that's Vomero. And Bison will begin at their own 26-yard line, trailing by 11 with 7:56 to go.
I am so impressed, regardless of the score. I am so impressed with Fort Leboeuf and the absolute grit and intelligence they've been playing with. And the entire team has done their job. It's just hard when you're going against that kind of Formula One racing on the other side of the ball. It is so hard, even when you do your job, even when you stay in your lanes, even when you're in position to make a good tackle. Speed is just something that if you're not able to keep up with them, you're just not able to keep up with them.
Absolutely. Just under 8 minutes to go here. 1st and 10 at the 27. Walters in the shotgun, takes a snap. Hands it to Sadowski up over the 30, and he's dragged down, but not until he gains 8 yards up to the 35-yard line. Good run by Skylar Sadowski to begin this drive.
And in typical Fort Leboeuf nature, they're not quitting. They're still bringing the hammer and running that ball as hard as they can.
2nd down and 2 at the 35. Fort Leboeuf has been able to move it on offense pretty effortlessly today as Walters takes a snap. He's looking downfield. He can't find anybody, and he is sacked back at the 32-yard line for a loss of about 3.
And there is laundry on the field, so I'm not sure if it's holding. We'll have to see.
Looks like they're checking with Hickory's coach to see if he wants to accept the penalty or decline it. So it is holding on Fort Leboeuf, and they will accept the penalty, so that will move the ball back. 2nd down and long now. 2nd down and about 12.
Yeah, and right now, that's the offensive lineman trying to get a bigger play than what they've been able to produce on a single down, and playing outside of themselves again and just trying to get that little extra advantage in hopes that we can score a touchdown.
Here's the snap. Walters going to run it himself around the left side. He fakes the pass up over the 30 to the 35. Good run for Dominic Walters as he gets that penalty back, that penalty yardage back, and he is up close to a first down.
It's hard for me to believe that we're watching a game where a team has played so well, so fundamentally sound, and has done their job at a high level, and they're still losing the game. They're playing a masterful job on the offense.
3rd down and 2 at their own 35-yard line. Walters under center. Blos goes in motion, and there's a handoff, and he backs his way in. That's Sadowski, I think, as he falls backwards for a first down up close to the 40-yard line.
I think that was Walters. He kept the handoff.
Oh,
he ran it over to the left, yeah. He is so good at fooling everyone, including us, with those read options. It's unbelievable how many times we have had the wrong guy running the ball, and as well as the defense.
It's a first down and 10 at the 38. 6:42 to go here in the fourth quarter. And
timeout. Officials timeout. So we will take a word from our sponsor.
Support for this broadcast is provided by Family Ink Innovations, specializing in screen printing, banners, yard signs, and much more. Located at 319 High Street in Waterford and 104 West Smith Street in Corey, and online at FamilyInkInnovations.com. Phone 814-462-6628. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks Family Ink Innovations for their support.
1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. Walters in an empty backfield. Back to pass. He's going to throw it deep over the middle, and it is caught by Skylar Sadowski up over the 45 to the 42-yard line. As that Walters put that right in between
the needle.
The defenders.
That was an absolutely threading of the needle, and that's what they have to do with the clock running and running out of time to make up for the deficit they're in.
And they're going to a hurry-up offense, and Hickory calls timeout to get their defense set. So we will step aside again for a word from our sponsors.
This portion of Fort Leboeuf football on the Sunny 105.7's Corey Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Marsh Real Estate Services, your local full-service realty team serving northwestern PA and southwestern New York with offices in Summit Township, Mill Creek, Harbor Creek, and Corey. Online at marshamarsh.com. Best of luck to the Fort Leboeuf Bison from Marsh Real Estate Services. Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corey Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Jim Brozell Construction at 9298 Peach Street in Waterford. Phone 814-866-2075. Wise Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Waterford. Online at wisept.com. Al's Appliance Sales and Service at 110 High Street in Waterford. Phone 814-796-4007.
All right, back to action. Walters takes a snap. He throws it out to the sidelines, and it's complete. I believe that was Xavier Blos.
Yeah, and I think he was able to get out. Oh, no, they did not stop the clock. Oh, yeah, they did. Okay. He was able to twist his way out of bounds, which was a very smart move.
And that is a close to a first down, and we have a Hickory player that is down. Oh, they say he stepped out of bounds at about the 37-yard line, so just a gain of 5. But it was a quick pass out to Blos on the left sideline.
Yeah, it looks like the Hickory player might be down for quite a bit, so we're going to go ahead and have another message from our sponsor.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Corey Federal Credit Union. The Corey Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Corey Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Corey Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Corey, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at coryfcu.org. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Hickory Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
That injured player was Marzer Gardlock for Hickory. He's able to get up on his own power and get off the field. But back to action. We're 2nd down and 5 at the 37-yard line. Fort Leboeuf driving once again. Walters in an empty backfield. Takes a snap. Goes straight back. He's going to throw the ball deep down the left sideline. Sadowski was there, but he just overthrew him.
Yeah, it was a little to the left, about 3 feet. And the defender was not looking back at the ball, but he was in the way for Sadowski to be able to get to the ball. It was a smart pass, a very smart pass.
3rd down and 7, or 3rd down and 5 at the 37. 6:08 to go here in the 4th quarter. Walters in the shotgun, 5 receivers in the formation, 3 to the right, 2 to the left. Walters back to pass. Can't find anybody. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run it up over the 30 to the 25, and he has enough for a 1st down, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
Yeah, I don't know what Walter's stats are tonight, and I don't much care. He has played the quarterback position almost as perfectly as a human being is capable of. I just don't know how he could have played this position any better tonight against such a talented Hickory team.
He is having a phenomenal game.
And the fact that he's coming back next year blows my mind, that he's doing this as a junior. It just blows my mind.
Absolutely. 1st down and 10 at the 26. Walters in the shotgun. Man goes in motion. Walters, and the play is blown dead. And a timeout by Fort Leboeuf. That will be their first timeout of the game, and we will step aside for a word from our sponsors.
At FamilyIncInnovations.com. Phone 814-462-6628. The Sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks Family Inc. Innovations for their support.
Sorry about that. We bumped the wrong button, so we didn't get that whole advertisement in. We do apologize. And right now we have 5 minutes and 59 seconds with a 21-10 game. And I believe it is 1st and 10.
Yep. 1st and 10 for the Bison. Need a quick score here to get back into this ball game. Walters in the shotgun. Strushin goes in motion. Walters throws it to Sadowski, who catches it at the 25 and is hit and dropped immediately.
He was, but once again, that pass was right on the numbers, and he threw it where Sadowski could shield the ball from the defenders, and of course Sadowski takes the hit and shakes it off like it's nothing, even though those 2 players were able to just tee off on him.
They're going to mark it at the 24, 2nd and 8. Walters in an empty backfield. 2 receivers to the right, 3 to the left. Walters takes the snap. He's back to pass, throws it deep, and Vomero cut inside, and Walters threw it to the corner of the end zone.
Yeah,
a little bit of miscommunication.
But the defensive back fell down at the 7-6 yard line, and if they would have been on the same page, that would have been the easiest catch Vomero had all year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, it is possible that when he fell down, that's what pushed Vomero towards the inside of the field. I wish we had replay to watch that.
3rd down and 8. Walters in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Fakes the handoff. He's going to roll to his left. He throws it, and it is intercepted by Hickory. And he's returning it down the sidelines up to the 50, and he's gone. And that will put the final nail in the coffin for the Fort Leboeuf Bison.
Well, he rolled out to the left, and he felt pressure coming, and they've made that play a lot tonight. The problem is when you're in the red zone and you're throwing against your body like that, when you're a right-handed quarterback moving to the left, you're not going to put the same zip on the ball that you normally would. And when this kind of fast defensive team is in a tight area and you have to throw a touch pass over defenders, that defensive back is just going to be able to play the ball, not the wide receiver. And that's what he did. He just jumped up, caught it like a can of corn coming off a shelf, and he took off down the sideline, which is why they've been avoiding throwing to the corner all night.
Yep. The Bison now trail 27-10 as Hickory lines up for the extra point. High snap, the kick is up, and it is no good. But it is still a 3-possession game now as Hickory takes a 27-10 lead.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to come back from this, but I'm going to emphasize this, and it has to be said. These young men for Fort Leboeuf have shown so much character with so much adversity and the don't quit that they have. And, part of sports is about winning, of course. Of course it's about winning, coming together and accomplishing a goal. And they've done that this year. But it's also when you know you're not going to get the prize that you're looking for, but you still have the character to persevere and push forward and continue doing a good job even when you don't feel like it. And that's what they're doing right now. Who would want to be out there right now after that interception? But I know they're going to come back out, and they're going to continue to play hard for the rest of these 5 minutes because that's who they are.
Absolutely. And, they're going to, when they look back on this game, so many missed opportunities in that first half. Every possession that Fort Leboeuf had went into Hickory territory in this game. And they were only able to score 10 points. And
the drives were long.
Yep.
Hard-fought drives.
And, they kept Hickory down to 14 points for the majority of this game as there's a short kickoff fielded at the 24-yard line. He gets up over the 35 to about the 36, 37-yard line. And Fort Leboeuf will begin their next drive with 4:59 to go. Pretty good field position, but time running out on the Bison.
What a game. What a game. I'm exhausted right now from this game and for how hard they've worked. And I'm sure you guys can tell at home. I'm a fan of this team, and I know you're not always supposed to be biased, but what they've shown me this year and what they've been able to accomplish, it's really hard not to be a little biased for the Fort Leboeuf Bison. So even though this was a hard-fought game and with only 5 minutes left, it doesn't look good. I'll tell you, I'm so proud of them, and I'm so privileged to be able to announce these games this year.
Absolutely. As Walters takes the snap, he's going to throw it deep. He's got Strushin and just overthrown. As that ball, Strushin had some room to run if he had been able to catch that one.
That was about a foot to his left, and it looked like he almost wasn't able to pick the ball up in the air quick enough. And I'm not sure if the lights had a part with that or if it was just hard to see in the dark sky. But that was almost a perfect pass.
It was. 2nd down and 10. Blows lines up in the backfield. Two running backs in the backfield. Blows and Sadowski. Walters under center. He's going to take the snap. He's going to fake the handoff. He's going to swing it out to Strushin. And he makes the catch up over the 45-yard line.
No, that was
Sadowski.
Yeah, and he caught that rollout pass after the play action, and he put his head down, and he pushed through 2 defenders like it was the first play of the game.
That's a 10-yard gain up to the 46-yard line. 1st down for the Bison. Walters takes a snap, and there's a fumble, and Hickory recovers. It was a bad exchange between Walters and Sadowski, and the ball just came loose, and Hickory recovered it.
And right now, you can see, and it's not from lack of effort. If anything, it's because of so much effort. You can just see that Fort Leboeuf is gassed. They have nothing left in the tank. They have given everything. You talk about 110%. I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, that's what they've given tonight.
Absolutely. And, Hickory has 4 minutes and 31 seconds to go, and they have the ball in Fort Leboeuf territory. They may easily go down and score again, but this final score is not indicative of how close a game this was. Fort Leboeuf was down by 14-10 early in the fourth quarter, and they had the ball in Hickory territory with a chance to take the lead, and they were just not able to do it. A punt and then an interception and a pick six on the next drive ended their thoughts of a comeback. But there is a timeout on the field, and we will take another break.
Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Marsh Real Estate Services, your local full-service realty team serving northwestern PA and southwestern New York with offices in Summit Township, Mill Creek, Harbor Creek, and Corey. Online at marshamarsh.com. Best of luck to the Fort Leboeuf Bison from Marsh Real Estate Services.
All right, Hickory's coming back out on offense with 4.5 minutes to go here in the ball game. Just to echo what you were saying earlier, this Fort Leboeuf team has nothing to be ashamed of about this game or this season. They fought so hard, and like I said, they were in this ball game up until the last 8 or 9 minutes of the game. As there's a snap, Dungy's going to take it himself, and he gets up over the 45 to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, and that's a smart play. QB keeper, have the extra blocker, run the ball, make sure you're not going to turn it over and give Fort Leboeuf a chance to score, and just chew up that clock.
That's going to set up a 2nd down and 6 at the 43-yard line as Hickory trying to run off the final 4 minutes of this game. And last score I saw, Sharon was beating Northeast 28-6. So it looks like it's going to be a Hickory-Sharon rematch in the championship game as Morrison takes the handoff, and he's met right at the line of scrimmage, and he is pushed back, maybe a loss of a yard on that play.
Yeah, blow the whistle for forward progress.
And Fort Leboeuf calls a timeout with 3:37 to go here in the fourth quarter, and we will take a break for a word from our sponsors.
Fort Leboeuf football coverage on the Sunny 105.7 Corey Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Jim Brozell Construction at 9298 Peach Street in Waterford. Phone 814-866-2075. Wise Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Waterford. Online at wisept.com. Al's Appliance Sales and Service at 110 High Street in Waterford. Phone 814-796-4007.
All right, 3rd down and 6 at the 3rd down and about 7. Lost a yard on that last play. Spot the ball at the 45-yard line. Dungy takes the snap. He's going to try to run it himself, and he's tackled in the backfield for another loss.
Yeah, gang tackled by 70, 0, and another player, but we do have a Fort Leboeuf player down on the ground, but I cannot see. It might be Sadowski. Of course it's Sadowski, because you think he's going to quit at this point in the game. He shot out of his stance and got into that backfield so quick. He's still playing like he can win this, and that says a lot about his character. All right, we're going to take another message from our sponsor here while they check him out. Yeah, that was his collarbone, folks, or shoulder. But he's up walking. He looks okay, but hopefully he's able to sit the rest of the game. Yeah, he's walking off on his own power now. He looks like he's going to be all right. Maybe that was a stinger like he had the other game.
Yeah. And 4th down and 12. Hickory's going to punt. And Fort Leboeuf's going to get the ball back one more time here. Here's the snap. Big rush, and he gets it off. Low line drive, and the ball's going to bounce at about the 20 and roll inside the 20 and roll dead at about the 16-yard line. So the Bison will take over at their own 16-yard line with 3:20 to go.
What a tremendous game.
Yep, and these Bison have shown heart all season, and they're still not quitting here, as they had some opportunities in the first half but were turned away, and that proved to be the big difference in this ball game. As Walters lined up in the shotgun. Takes a snap. He's going to run it himself up to the 20, 25, out of bounds. Gets up over to the 25 to about the 26-yard line for first down for Fort Leboeuf.
Yeah, what an honor it's been to be watching these kids. The character. And, I have to say to the parents at home who have raised these young men, you've done a tremendous job. I have not seen a single one of these players the entire season do anything outside of play their absolute very best. And the teamwork and the camaraderie that they have, of course, that's the credit of Coach Blos and the coordinators and the assistant coaches. But it all really starts with the parents. And, I'm a teacher at heart. And it's not easy to raise kids, you know what I'm saying? And to raise a group of men like this in one town that support each other this well and where the families come together, it's just really been a great experience for me to watch and to see the fruits of all your hard labor.
Absolutely.
So I want to give a good pat on the back to the parents at home.
And Walters on that first down play rolled out to the right, couldn't find anybody, and was run out of bounds at the 25-yard line for a loss of a yard. And Walters back in the shotgun again. He's going to throw it deep. He's got Strushin, and ball falls incomplete. And the defender fell down, and Strushin tried to make the catch, but couldn't get around the defender.
The defender fell down and ran into him, which could have been pass interference, but I think at this point in the game, they're just trying to let the clock run out and get the ball moving and the game moving on.
Yep. 3rd down and 12 at their 25-yard line. 3:01 to go here in the fourth quarter. Walters takes a snap. He's going to air it out deep, and that's going to be intercepted again and up over the 30 to the 20. And he is wrestled out of bounds at the 10-yard line as a touchdown-saving tackle there.
Well, and at this point, he's just throwing it up in the air hoping for a miracle.
Yep. And, that was one of the easier interceptions you're gonna have there, as the defender was the only person that was able to make that catch. And Hickory is going to start their next drive at the Fort Leboeuf 10-yard line with 2:50 to go here in the fourth quarter. The Hornets lead 27-10. As Hickory's offense comes back out on the field.
Well, they're in shotgun formation. I would think that they'd probably start kneeling the ball at this point, but there is almost 3 minutes left.
And he takes the snap. Dungy's going to try to run it himself around the left side. He gets up over the 10 to the 5, and he's tripped up at the 5-yard line. And he stays in bounds, so the clock will continue to run. 2nd down and goal at the 5-yard line. As the clock winds under 2.5 minutes to go here in the ball game.
Yeah, and right now, if I was Hickory, I know that you don't want to run the score up, but when you're in the playoffs and you're trying to establish some momentum and create a message about your football team, you're probably going to want to score as much as possible.
And there's Morrison up the middle, and he runs over a player, and he gets into the end zone for another Hickory touchdown, as that gives them a 33-10 lead.
What a game.
Yep. And, it was 14-10 after 3, and Hickory has now outscored Fort Leboeuf 19-0 in the fourth quarter.
And this comes
take control of this game.
This comes all the way back to, the one penalty at the goal line before halftime.
And here's the extra point. It's up, and it is good. And that will give Hickory a 34-10 lead with exactly 2 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. And while the teams get set for the next kickoff, we'll take one more break for our word from our sponsors.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Hickory Federal Credit Union. The Hickory Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Hickory Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Hickory Federal Credit Union is located at 728 Worth Street in Hickory, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at hickoryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Hickory Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
All right, and we got 2 minutes left. 34-10, and you have to start thinking about Walters coming back next year, and the way that he has led this team. It's hard to believe that he's a junior as they return the kickoff.
And Wolfarth takes it up over the 30-yard line to the 32-yard line.
And it's just hard to believe that a junior has so much poise and awareness and acuity at the position. And we definitely have some players coming back, but who do we have leaving
us? Got out of our main contributors, Skylar Sadowski is graduating, which is going to be a big loss. But they've had other people pick up the slack in the running area this year, so it may not be that big of a loss. Brady Black is also graduating this year. Mikey Vomero. So they're basically losing their top receiver and their top running back due to graduation. But the same thing happened last year, and Sadowski and Vomero, were able to pick up the slack this year. So I have no doubt that they're going to have people, next year that are going to pick up that slack.
And they do, and they have the leadership and the diversity in plays that they have slowly added to their playbook throughout this season. And I know that if you're not a starter and you're not out there with that experience, that's hard to throw the entire playbook at you. But I think Walters is going to have a real advantage with the younger players coming up and being able to lead them because he has had so much experience this year.
Absolutely. And with Xavier Blows coming back, that gives them an experienced receiver. As Walters takes the snap, he's going to hand it off. Gets up over the 40 to the 42-yard line. And that is Brady Black as he is playing his final minute 38 of his high school career. They're also losing their kicker, Lucas Kantz, which
that's going to be hard to replace.
That's going to be a big blow as well.
I'm not sure who they have to replace him, but it's hard for me to believe that there's a lot of kickers like Kantz out there. Hopefully there is.
Yeah.
But those are going to be big shoes to fill.
Yeah. As Walters throws incomplete to Blows over the middle, bringing up a 2nd down and 10 at the 41-yard line. But they do have a good core of players coming back in Dominic Walters, Xavier Blows, like I said, Dominic Wolforth, who has gotten a lot of playing time as a freshman this year. Carson Stoltz, who has had a phenomenal season both offensively and defensively on the line.
Yeah, he's a menace.
Yep.
He's an absolute menace.
Caden Milner is going to be back. He's a junior this year. As Walters fakes the handoff, he gets up over the 50, and did the ball come? No.
It looked like it might have, but I think he fell right back on it.
Yeah, but he gets a 9-yard gain up to the 50-yard line, setting up a 3rd down and 1 at the 50 with 1 minute to go here in the ball game. Hickory leads 34-10. And this is by no means indicative of the game that this ball game was. As Walters takes the snap, he hands it off to Black. He's up over the 40 to the 30, 25, 20, and Brady Black is going to score a touchdown on his last carry as a high school player.
That's wonderful. I'm so happy for him.
And that will cut the score to 34-16 on a 50-yard run for Brady Black.
And that's that don't quit Fort Leboeuf attitude.
Absolutely. And they will probably go for 2 here. I don't know. Lucas Cance is out there for his final extra point of his high school career to try to cut the lead to 34-17. And Cance has it lined up. Here's the snap. It's up, and it is good. So, with just 33 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter, the Bison cut the Hickory lead to 34-17, and we will step aside for a word from our sponsors.
This portion of Fort Leboeuf football on the Sunny 105.7's Hickory Federal Credit Union Sports Stream is brought to you by Marsh Real Estate Services, your local full-service realty team serving northwestern PA and southwestern New York with offices in Summit Township, Mill Creek, Harbor Creek, and Corey. Online at marshamarsh.com. Best of luck to the Fort Leboeuf Bison from Marsh Real Estate Services.
All right, we are back, and see if the Bison try an onside kick here to try to get the ball back one last time. As Lucas Cance is getting it teed up at the 40-yard line, 33 seconds to go. 34-17, Hickory with the lead, and Sharon is now leading Northeast 42-14. So it looks like it's going to be a matchup of 2 Mercer County teams in the District 10 championship, as Hickory and Sharon are going to play each other. Hickory defeated Sharon by just 2 points earlier in the season. So that should be an excellent District 10 championship game next week.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if a team can beat Hickory with this kind of speed, it will be very surprising to me.
And here's the kick. It is an onside kick. It's recovered by... It bounced off a Hickory player, but I think
another Hickory player was able to dive on it. That was a really good onside kick.
That was. Yeah, the Bison had a shot for that one.
Yeah, it made the perfect bounce. It was a little to the right of the initial player. He dove for it, hit off his hands, but it unfortunately went right to another Hickory player.
And with just 31 seconds to go, we have one last play. Probably, I don't know. Fort Leboeuf did recover.
Oh, they did recover. Okay.
So Fort Leboeuf has the ball at the Hickory 47-yard line. I didn't see any indication, but... And Walters back to pass. He's going to throw it, and it's caught by Blows up to the 35, to the 20, 25.
Out
and
of
he's
bounds.
run out of bounds.
All right, hey, we might be able to get another score in here.
And
this is that don't quit attitude.
And they're going to mark the ball inside the 20 at about the 18-yard line with 22 seconds to go, as Fort Leboeuf trying to make the score a little bit closer. As Walters takes the snap. Got all day to throw it. He's going to roll out to the right. Can't find anybody. He's going to run it himself up to the 15 to the 10. Eludes a couple tacklers, and he's still fighting inside the 5-yard line to about the 4, as the clock will stop with 6 seconds to go on the first down. So they will have one last play here from the 6 to try to get one last touchdown. And Walter spikes the ball with 1 second to go.
No, they let the clock run out.
And it should have been with 1 second to go.
Maybe. Well, nobody's leaving the field. They might add a second to the clock.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
They're adding 1 second to go. So.
And you can hear the Fort Leboeuf fans screaming from the other side of the field. And, folks, we haven't heard much of anything through this glass, but we were able to hear them cheer. And that's the spirit that I'm talking about. How can you not absolutely love this team? That is so great.
As the Bison are lining up at the 6-yard line. Last play of the season for Fort Leboeuf. Dominic Walters in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He's going to throw it into the end zone, and it is knocked down. And there was some contact there. No penalty on the play. Looked like Brozich was the intended receiver. But that's how this football season is going to come to an end for Fort Leboeuf, as they lose 34-17. But what can you say? They were able to fight through some adversity, and
at the end of the day, they weren't able to put enough points up on the scoreboard, but they truly did everything that they were capable of doing tonight, and they have nothing to be ashamed of. We're going to take one last message from our sponsor before we go with our Hickory Federal Credit Union post-game show.
Support for Fort Leboeuf Bison football play-by-play on the sunny 105.7 Sports Stream is provided in part by the Hickory Federal Credit Union. The Hickory Federal Credit Union would like to wish the Bison the best of luck this season. The Hickory Federal Credit Union has been serving the community since 1958. They offer a wide range of financial and banking services for you or your business. The Hickory Federal Credit, 56 North Main Street, Union City, 315 Main Street in Spartansburg, and online at hickoryfcu.org. The sunny 105.7 Sports Stream thanks the Hickory Federal Credit Union, a not-for-profit organization, for their support of Bison football play-by-play.
Okay, and we are back for our Hickory Federal Credit Union post-game show. And, Doug, what thoughts do you have at the end of this wonderful season, magnificent season?
Absolutely. The Bison end the season at 8-4. And like I said before, you see the final score, 34-17. For people who didn't watch or listen to the game or were here watching the game, you would think that Hickory had control of this game. This was a 14-10 game with about 8 or 9 minutes left in the game, and Fort Leboeuf had the ball with a chance to take the lead. So, this was much closer than the score indicates, and Fort Leboeuf has fought all season long, and I'm looking forward to next year because even though they're losing some key players, they have some key players returning as well. And none more important than their quarterback, Dominic Walters. We've heaped his praises all season, and especially today. Walters is a leader. And, no matter who they have coming back, he's going to be able to rally the team and get the most out of them next year. So even though this year ended in disappointment, this was a very successful season for the Bison.
Yep.
They won their first playoff game in 9 years. You know, they had some excellent wins this year. You know, they gave Hickory all they could handle. You know, Hickory was the consensus number 1 team in AAA in District 10 this year, and Fort Leboeuf was within a few plays of actually pulling off the upset. You know, they got down to the 10-yard line in the first half and kicked a field or attempted a field goal and missed. They got down to inside the 1-yard line right before the half and weren't able to score. You know, those 2 possessions right there could have changed the whole complexion of this ball game.
Well, I really think the entire game came down to the drive right before half, and that penalty that was called, we believe that was either a formation issue or 2 players went in motion at the same time, although I did not notice that, but that's what was called. And that really determined the rest of the game. Because if they were able to score there, build that momentum, and come out on fire like they did after halftime, and they were able to score again, now the game is tied. And now I think, right? Or at least close. Maybe.
Well, if they would have been able to get a touchdown at the end of the half, they would have actually had the lead because they came out and scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that would have given them the lead.
Right.
And that changes everything. And the whole season, you know, when they went through that little stint with a lot of the offensive calls, pre-snap call penalties, holding penalties, those 5 yards make a difference. Those little tiny disadvantages make a huge difference in how the flow of the game goes. And it was really those last 2 plays right before halftime that determined the entire game, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And with no timeouts left, you know, when they were stopped just outside the end zone on the 3rd down play, they couldn't even spike the ball to stop the clock because it was 4th down. So they had to, you know, go on a scramble drill just to get lined up and try to push it into the end zone before the clock hit 0. And, you know, if they would have had just maybe 5 more seconds on the clock, they could have been able to get more set and everything. But as it turned out, they had to go faster than they wanted to on that last play. And it just didn't work out for them.
Well, I'll tell you what, the things that stood out to me today were Walter's play. And, of course, we look forward to seeing him quarterback this team next year. The character that these kids have to overcome adversity and the don't quit that's been instilled in them. Man, if you could give that to the rest of society, this would be a great place. There would be a lot of problems that would disappear. And I can't speak to that enough. We're not just making football players here, you know, with Fort Leboeuf. You're making future adult men to take over and to help society and lead society. So they have a lot to be proud of there. And I have to emphasize something. Sadowski got injured last week with his shoulder. And I saw the coach going over and talking to him. And after that, the coach was talking to him. I don't know what he said, but it just looked like, hey, man, this is your last year. What are you going to do? Are you able to go? Because if you're able to go, you're going to regret it if you don't. Seems to be the energy that conversation has. Now, I'm putting myself in that position as a coach. What would I be saying to him?
Right.
And he showed up and helped us win that game, and he's shown up today. And that injury at the end, you know, he had a lot of adrenaline running through him, and that injury at the end with his shoulder is what I'm assuming it is. That's an assumption. I don't know that for sure. But that's where the adrenaline wears off a little bit. Now you're going to feel a little bit of the discomfort. But for him to persevere like that and to help this team get as far as they did, he didn't just do that for himself. He did that for everybody else who was wearing that helmet.
Absolutely. And, you know, you could, you know, we don't know these players personally, but you can tell how close this group is, you know, even off the field, you know, because they all picked each other up, and, you know, they played as a team. There was nobody getting on anybody on the sidelines after a fumble or an interception or anything like that. And, you know, the fact that they scored right at the end of the game, got an onside kick, and almost scored again, you know, that just shows the character of this team, you know, for not giving up.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like Coach Blows has really built something special here. So as a teacher, as my parting comments for the season, I'm going to put my teacher hat on, as I probably do a little bit more than I should. And I'm just going to encourage all the players that are on this football team. I don't know what your off-season program looks like. I'm sure you have one. And I don't know all the time and how much it's going to eat up your off-season. But I really feel like Coach Blows and the coordinators and the coaches have created something special for you guys to take advantage of. So during this off-season, if anybody on the team hears this message, get to the gym, do the workouts. You have something special here. And that doesn't mean you're going to win a state championship, but there is no reason why you can't build on this and have even more success next year.
Absolutely. And
you're not going to regret it. You're not going to regret if you put in the work, I promise you.
Absolutely. And these players coming back, they're going to remember this. Just like last year, they lost on a heartbreaking ending on a last-second field goal. They came back this year more determined, and they were able to beat Corey last week after losing to them last year. So, these returning players are going to remember this game, know how close that they actually were to upsetting Hickory, and they're going to come back even more hungry for next year. I guarantee it. And
well, and we want to give a final shout out to everybody who made this happen this year. So we want to give a thanks to the fans, our boss, Brian Silvis, who's helped me with technology and learning how to run all of this at the beginning of the season. I greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely. And, without Brian's the reason that Ben and I are on the broadcast today, so we thank him greatly for giving us the opportunity to bring you all of Fort Leboeuf's action this year.
Yeah, and most importantly, we thank the football players because they're the ones who are out there getting the bumps and the bruises and living through the grind. And you guys have just entertained me tremendously, and I never thought I'd be announcing high school football games, but I'm so glad that I did.
Absolutely. And, you the fans out there watching this and listening to it, you're the ones that make this happen too. Without you guys having an interest to listen and watch the games, we wouldn't be here. So, and I'd also like to thank you, Ben, my partner.
You're welcome, brother.
It's been a pleasure this year. Hope we can run this back next year. And, it's been a fun season.
Yep, it's been really enjoyable. So thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great off season, and I hope to see you next year. Thank you.